when the stream starts.
Okay.
Not on YouTube side. When the stream starts.
Okay.
Not on YouTube side.
Hmm.
Nice, 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 nice. Perfect. When the stream starts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, scuff is to be expected for the
Not
first
on
stream.
YouTube side.
So, post is posted. Things are on. Then I can start. So, greetings, friends, and welcome to the first episode of Keep It Simple Senpai, or short KISS. Today on Enter to Credits channel, not on mine, and with credits, of course. Enter to Credits himself, with Lily Fernwild, and with me, Torstwolf. Um, Keep It Simple Senpai is the podcast where we don't keep it simple, as we break down anime season for season, episode for episode. Today, in our hubris, we decided to look at season 1 of Haikyu. It has a total of 25 episodes, 2 openings, and 3 endings. So, we got a few notes. Lily, do you want to tell us our review structure? What will
Sure.
we look at?
So, as an overall look at like sort of quality factors for the anime, I've written up kind of a document with a bunch of talking points. So the headings would be character and character development, and then world building or setting, plot and story, art and animation, and last are kind of overall rating and recommendation. We might save that till later, but we can definitely start by just kind of going through and talking about in general what we think about Haikyuu for each of these different kind of categories of quality. So if we want, we could start by talking about characters and character development. Mhm. Sure, as like a general overview. Um, yeah. So just off the bat, I will warn any viewers, I am a big fan of Haikyuu. I was since I first started watching it when it was when the first season was airing, I was a big fan like right away. So I'm not going to have much negative to say about this show. In other episodes when we're talking about other shows, I will probably have something more interesting to say. But on beginning with characters and character development, I frankly love all of the characters in Haikyuu. They all have something interesting about them, some sort of backstory or nuance to their character that makes them entertaining, fun to watch, makes you feel for them, makes you sympathetic. And a lot of them have very good character development too. Not even just the main characters. Hinata Shoyo and Kageyama Tobio are basically the two main characters of the show, the deuteragonists, and both of them have excellent uh, things to recommend them. A lot of passion for their sport, a lot of good things that they learn, and have a lot of great development along the way as they grow as both players and people. But it's not even just those two characters. I think pretty much every character in Karasuno who gets a little bit of screen time has something cool going on. And a lot of them have very interesting and fun and relatable stories. So, yeah, as far as characters and character development, I can't think of many shows that are better than Haikyuu in that department. Kageyama. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I also will not carry this show down so far. I think as well the characters are pretty much realistically held. They have their flaws, they have their advantages, their strengths, and not. I don't know a single character that I would outright dislike. I think all of them have something likable about them. They do develop um, through the series, which also feels realistic in the way that they do. Uh, they don't start out as the perfect team, and that is something very important, I think. Especially knowing how the episodes go, how the backstory is of all the characters. So, yeah, I think this show is a great start for what an sports anime should be about in the rough draft of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then great. So moving on to the next category, then the world building or setting. It's a little funny maybe to use that word for a show set in the normal world and not a fantasy or sci-fi setting, but I think it's still important to think about these when we're trying to examine stories and see how they work and if they work or not. So even in the normal world, there's still world building going on, especially in something like a sports game where most of the people watching the anime or consuming the manga for the first time are probably not familiar with volleyball and how it works. And something I really appreciate about Haikyu is that the writer does a very good job of gradually introducing concepts of how the game works and how it's interesting and why you might be invested in how the games go and who wins or loses. So, like, one of the first things you learn in the first episodes is like just keeping the ball up to go over the net. And then you learn about what a setter is and you see how Hinata wants to be a spiker who can fly. Like those are the first two concepts you learn about volleyball, and the show is about setting and spiking. But then as the show continues, you learn more and more concepts. You learn about like all the different positions, the libero, the blockers. You learn about the different strategies, and it just gets deeper and deeper as it goes until by the end of the series, you feel like you know a lot about the game. And that doesn't mean you actually do, but you feel like you do. And I think it's just a really good, this show does a really good job of building the world and helping you get invested and involved in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some fans thought that too when it was first coming out. That was a fan theory. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. He's a great POV character.
Yeah, I think I can not add more to world building and setting this. think Lily summed it up really well. But we can get on to plot and story because that plays also a part in this. Because I
Mm-hmm.
love the way they introduce these concepts. These are not like there from the beginning. We don't get the full team in the beginning. There are still positions missing that then get introduced as the characters get introduced. We don't get the entire cast at episode 1. And they
Right.
do it pretty well, especially with the trainings matches later on to show new tactics and new philosophies of playing.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. So for plot and story, something to always think about when you're examining fiction is there something that grabs your interest right away? And Haikyu does a great job of that with immediately showing us Hinata getting starry-eyed over the little giant and how he wants to be the same like him, and you can immediately buy into that. There's that relatability there of like seeing something that grabs your interest and like just wanting to join that world, and then we follow Hinata's perspective into that world as he tries and tries and tries to find people who will play with him, and he's so excited to play his first match, and then it goes poorly and he wants revenge. And like there's just the first episode just does an excellent job of setting up Hinata's character and his whole reason for playing the game. And then as the story continues, you meet all the other characters as concepts introduced, as positions are introduced, and you learn about their perspectives and their reasons for wanting to play and wanting to win. And it just keeps building and building on each other to this, so you get to the some of the emotional heights that you get later in the story.
Exactly.
Credits. Are you your credits? You're muted if you wanted to say something. Okay. Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there
agree.
are many setups and such things. It really works well into each other, especially building the rivalries.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, talking about on the subject of plot and story, yes. So for sports, I mean, it seems like the story's built in, right? Like you've got a team that wants to win and other teams that want to win, and the story's about resolving that conflict. What is great about the story in Haikyuu is that you're not just rooting for the protagonist team a lot of the time. A lot of times, like you get emotionally invested in other teams too, and you want them to win too. And it's like, why can't everyone win? But only one team can win. So I think that is something else that the story does really well, to keep you involved and invested. And even if the team you're rooting for loses, then you've got another team you can root for that's still in the tournament, and you hope that maybe they'll win. And yeah, and another thing about sports animes is that there's really only two story arcs, right? There's training and there's tournaments. And Haikyu does great at both of those. Hmm. Hmm.
Mm. No, I think actually that is quite shonen. Every shonen that we know of has these emotional, especially in their battles, these emotional scenes. I mean, that's what gets fairy tale memed on the entire time. Does not like the power of friendship. Um, the slice of life aspect is there definitely, but in the end of the day, every sports anime is just like a tournament arcs back to back to tournament arcs. The
Yeah, but
training is like the getting it over the time.
yeah, but for Haikyuu, I enjoy both equally. Like, yes, you get story, you get character development in both. Like in many of the games, like the characters are actively growing as they are playing, so you watch them developing and like forming new connection and learning new concepts and like that just makes it so compelling. You just want to keep watching. I just remember the first time I watched like every at the end of every episode, like, oh man, I can't wait for next week. I want to watch the next episode so bad. So yeah, that's the best kind of anime where you just can't stop watching because you have to know what happens next.
Yes, yes. So,
All
do
right,
we have
so
something more to add to plot and story?
yeah, for sure. So
Sure.
next category then in our overall art and animation. So I love the art and animation in Haikyuu. It does. I've like I said, okay. So when I was first watching, I was like every week I was like, man, I can't wait for the next episode. So I started reading the manga. So I never finished, but I am very familiar with the manga style, and I can say that the studio that made the anime did a very good job of carrying that over. So you'd get a lot of personality in the anime that comes over from the manga, and it really shines through. And I really appreciate how all of the characters are unique, and you can tell who they are just by looking at the silhouette. That's something a lot of anime can't manage. And they all have their own personalities, their own body types, their own hairstyles, their own little quirks and things about them. And the one of the great things about anime, in my opinion, is that it has a budget. So there are scenes where, they're just kind of hanging out and talking and just the lips are moving and the heads are moving. And there's little hand gestures. And when you get an episode like that, there's going to be a scene coming up that's where they're going to put all their budget is going to pour into that one scene. And it's going to be so beautiful and so incredible. And Haikyuu does that. A lot of the games will have these moments where the players are jumping up to spike or to block or anything, and like the animation is just like off the hook. It looks so good. It's so smooth and detailed and strong. It has such great like human anatomy. Like you can tell that the artist really studied how these athletes move when they're actually doing these moves. It looks so realistic and physical and powerful. It's like I love the animation and the art in Haikyuu. I think it is fantastic.
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah, I never thought about that, about the shoes. That's a really interesting point. There's even one of the openings, I think, that focuses on the shoes. Like there's a shot of them like lining their shoes up. That's cool.
Yeah, I gotta add something. I think
Hmm.
the art and animation style due to their stylistic choices and their unique style they have are timeless. Actually, I think they look just as great now as they did when it dropped. I, for one, did not expect it to be as old as it is.
Mm.
I normally have really trouble with old anime styles, but this one just works really well. So it is really great to the style.
Mm. Oh yeah. Yeah, I love the moments when Hinata gets that gleam in his eyes and it like gets this like golden flash. It's like, ooh, okay, he's about to do something crazy. Right. Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
Then get a rating and recommendation.
Yeah. All right. So very easy for me. Haikyu is a 10 out of 10. I love this show. I would recommend it to anyone. For me, a 10 out of 10 is a show that I would not only recommend to people who like anime, I also would recommend it to people who like anything. For me, a 10 out of 10 show is where I would say, like my sister who played volleyball in high school, I told her, you gotta watch Haikyu. It's so good. It's about volleyball. You'll like it. She never did, but I kept telling her to. And yeah, like any of my friends who even slightly like anime or who played sports or anything like that would say, you gotta watch Haikyu. It's so good. Mm. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, for me it would be a 9, just because in the rewatching it the last few days, I saw some mistakes in the logic of the anime, like characters that were suddenly placed differently, and that's what lost them a point because they had to lose a point at this point. So something like that. There are some little mistakes like that, inconsistency. Yeah, I like the way it keeps it at least a bit realistic. Like
Right.
there is not super abilities in that sense. It's the best you get is talented people, and we all know there are some super artists that always can do stuff that seem unnatural.
Mm, fair enough. And then like who, like I said, I would recommend this to almost anyone. The last question I put on my little like category list was like, would you let kids see it and how old? I would say yes. I would let teenagers see
Yeah,
it. Like 13 and up, I think wouldn't really enjoy the show.
yeah. I think too.
Yep.
I
And
agree.
as a last little cheeky thing, I would say I would tell Matt Walsh to watch this.
So I think that closes the spoiler-free section
Yeah.
of
We
this.
thought yeah, we kept it pretty spoiler free, I feel like.
Yeah. I think that that is really good for people that didn't watch it yet. So let's get into the season itself, into the episodes.
Mhm.
So we got a nice little sheet of talking points. Episode and a bit mini arcs in it because season one is actually quite big. It has quite a lot of stuff in it. It's quite dense in content. Let's
Yes.
start with episode one: endings and beginnings. Where does Hinata come from? Why does he do this? Well, young Hinata watch it. Watch it. I'm starting to Mizuki this. Young Hinata watches a TV on the way to, was it all to home or to school? Something like
No,
that.
something like that. He's on his bike. Yeah, he's on his bike.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
coming or
And
going from
then
somewhere.
yeah, and then he sees on the TV the little giant doing being awesome in the sport.
Mhm. Yeah, he gets that sparkly look. And the little giant, for those who haven't watched the show, he's a Karasuno, which is a school. Karasuno is a school, and the reason that they're showing it on this TV at like an electronics store is because Karasuno has gone to nationals. And so this little giant is this short guy playing volleyball, and he jumps like a madman. And the TV is like showing highlights or whatever gameplay where he's just dominating and doing an excellent job. And Hinata is a short little guy too, and he sees the short little guy being amazing. He's like, I want to be that.
Exactly. And then we get a small time skip where he gets into his first uh, tournament in middle school with a team of ragtags, people he just, friends of his, he just brought together to play with him. Um, in that, he fights against the Kitagawa Daichi, led by Kageyama, and loses really badly.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when he has his cringe moment of swearing revenge and shouting against Kageyama.
Yeah,
We
he's
all
like,
know that.
what I love about that first, there's a lot of things to love about that first match. It really shows their personalities. It shows how Hinata will just do anything. He's his little, he's a captain for his little team. of these like three first years who finally joined his club where he was the only member for a while, and his two friends who play like I think baseball and soccer that he drags to join him for this tournament because he wants to play a real game so bad. And he's just encouraging them. He's telling them, "We'll win. Look, we'll win this, and then we'll keep winning." And they're all like, "We don't know the rules, dude. Like we barely know how to play." He's like, "It's okay. I'm gonna win it for us." And he throws himself heart and soul into everything he does. And if you watch the scorekeepers on the side of the net, as it goes on, they're like starting to root for Hinata and for his little team. And like when he finally gets 1 point, they're like so happy for him. The guy who flips the number is like just yeah, the little guy got a point. And the whole time Kageyama, the setter on the other side, is just like yelling at his teammates and like telling them, "Do this. You're not fast enough. You gotta be better." And Kageyama goes like he is so mad when Hinata gets that 1 point. He's like, they took that point from us. It's like, how dare they? Yeah. So yeah, mm, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's quite interesting. In the first episode, also, he Kageyama shouts at Hinata that he should have trained more,
Hmm.
which we will later see. He did
Yeah.
train with all had like he could.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah,
He
yeah, he
just
tells
didn't
him,
have
"What
a.
have you been doing for 3 years?" Because he sees this yeah, Kageyama always respected Hinata. That's really an interesting thing to bring up. Because like, yeah, he's this tiny little guy with this school no one's ever heard of, playing his first game on a real court ever, and Kageyama still sees him as a threat and is still like, "I'm gonna crush you." Like, he takes it so seriously, and he does him like, he respects Hinata, like, from the first moment, which is pretty cool, yeah. Mhm. Kageyama, yeah. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and we do, like you mentioned, we see that that Hinata has been trying. He'll play with anyone who will play with him. He bounces the ball against a wall to catch it for himself. He like forces his friends to just to throw to him so he can practice. He practices with the women's team. He practices with the girls' team. He'll practice with anyone, and he's just never had the support that he needs to actually learn and grow. So yeah, it's a great first episode to set up both Kageyama and Hinata. No. Yeah. Yep. And then
Yes.
and then the episode ends with Hinata finally getting his dream. He graduates from middle school and he gets the Karasuno school uniform and he goes and he runs into the gym and the episode ends with him seeing Kageyama in the Karasuno gym.
Yes. And that's where the second episode starts as well.
Mhm.
It starts with Hinata in the gym and Kageyama. So Hinata always wanted to go to Rasuno. That was where the little giant was. That's how he got there. And Kageyama got there because he failed at the entrance exam at the school where he wanted to go. So they find each other there and instantly fight.
Mhm.
Daichi, the captain of the volleyball club, wants to go in between, but fails to get them to cooperate.
Yep,
Yes, yes.
and episode 2 is where we first start getting introduced to the other characters, and I do like how slowly they're all introduced. So in episode 2 we meet Captain Daichi and Sugawara and Tanaka. Um,
Mhm.
they're the three upperclassmen. Tanaka is a second year, and Daichi and Suga are third years. And they instantly spot the problem of these two first years who are at each other's throats. And Daichi immediately starts showing his leadership. He's like, okay, we can't have this. We gotta make them learn how to behave. And he throws them out of the gym and tosses their school application, like their club application papers, basically at their heads, and says they're not allowed to come back until they can get along. Basically, it's a very dad move of his. Um, and then the two of them keep fighting outside. And so, like, well, how are we supposed to get along? Like, it's what are we supposed to do to prove? Like, and then they start begging at the door and like kicking it, and, like asking, please let us in. Until, let's see, I think it is Daichi who just opens the door again and says, okay, you got to beat us. And this is very smart of Daichi to do. He's like forcing Hinata and Kageyama to be on the same team so that they can learn how to cooperate and how to work together. And Tanaka gets put on their team, and they're going to be challenging three others on the in the volleyball club on Saturday. So they have like just a few days to practice and learn to get along. And Tanaka's great. I love him. He's such a good character, such a good senpai to the two first years. And so is Suga. Suga starts teaching them. Uh, Suga starts working with Hinata immediately, and like, okay, at lunch we'll go find a place to throw the ball around, and I'll teach you how to do this, and I'll teach you how to do that. And this is, I love this for Hinata so much. This made me so happy. Like the first time I watched the show, and every time after, like he's been longing for teammates. He's been yearning for someone to show him how to play the game and teach him and play with him. And now he finally has these two senpais in Tanaka and Suga who are both like encouraging him and working with him and helping him learn, and he's just like over the moon about it. It's great. Oh, yeah. That moment. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember that moment now. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Kageyama, that is one great thing about Kageyama is, like, he can't help himself, he has to tell the truth.
Also, it
Yeah,
shows great leadership from Daichi in the first thing.
yeah. Yeah,
He
and
knows
later
that it is a team sport and you need a team.
yeah. Later, you also find out that, another kid on the team, Nishinoya, also had a run-in with the vice principal, so then it makes more sense why he was, like, coming to check on the volleyball team and see what was going on, and then he got his toupee knocked off his head. So, yeah. Mm. Yeah, that's from the Japanese. Karasu means crow in Japanese, so Karasuno, like, that's where that nickname comes from. Also, Nekoma, Neko means cat. We'll get to that later. So yeah, the Karasu, they're called the crows. Um, and yeah, people have been calling them the wingless crows. The hijinks. Hmm. Yep, that's a good point.
They,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. They stay that way for quite a long time because it will not be saved from the relationship does not actually get that much better in episode 2. It comes later.
No, yeah, it takes a while. It takes a good
Yeah,
long while.
they like to training montage in the series, so there are multiple days that go by quite fast.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's episode 3 if we wanna move on to that, like, that's kind of
Yeah,
a little this is a tiny little training arc is what it is, like, it's, yeah, like I said, then Suga starts teaching Hinata, and they start practicing together, and we get introduced toward the end of
So,
the episode to Suki and Yamaguchi. But yeah, I love all of the scenes of Suga just being a really good senpai, and Tanaka also. Like Tanaka, I think in this episode is when he like kind of he's standing by the door of the gym and like talking really loudly about how they're gonna start practice at 7 a.m. right? And then Daichi and Sue are like, yeah, 7 a.m. And like he kind of aims this smirk outside at where Kageyama and Hinata are, and so they look at each other like 5 a.m. right? Yeah, 5 a.m. And then they show up at 5 a.m. the next morning, and Tanaka is there with the key to the gym to let them in so that they can practice in the gym.
this already shows a bit of Sugawara's personality, which
Mhm.
we get way, 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 way later actually explained.
Mhm.
Like this is episode 3, and we talking about his real his personality gets further explored in like episode 23,
Oh
like
yeah.
really at the
Yeah.
end, like to episode 22 or 23.
So so Tanaka shows up at 5 a.m. with the boys, right? But then also Suga shows up early at like, I don't know, 6 a.m., something like that. He understood that Tanaka was speaking loudly and volunteered to clean up and take the key so that he could come early and work with the first years, and he came too. And you see Suga just being so good.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah, I think that's in context of telling Hinata that he'll toss him aside if he's not useful. So then
Yeah.
later when he well, no, you can get to that later. But yeah, so yeah, that is a good. Also from the notes here, Suga has a little pep talk with Hinata when he's trying to encourage Hinata to get along with Kageyama, and he's like, this and Hinata's like, well, this is the guy I wanted to beat. This is the guy I wanted to get revenge on. And Suga tells him, well, he was your greatest enemy in middle school, but now he could be your greatest ally. And yeah, and that really puts a boot in Hinata's butt, like a spark in his mind. It's like, oh, never thought about it that way.
Yeah. And so they train, and then later they train outside. And when they
Hmm.
train outside, because they're still not allowed to go into the training hall officially, we get introduced to Tsuki and Yamaguchi.
Hmm.
Tsuki with his height catching a ball,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Tsuki is the first thing pretty much he does is mock or call Kageyama the king of the court,
Hmm.
which is, as we learn later on, not something to be proud of.
Right.
Like 2 sentences later on,
Yeah. Yep.
with the reaction of Kageyama.
Yep. It's a. Yep. We meet these other two first years, Tsukishima, nicknamed Suki, and Yamaguchi. And yeah, it's a great introduction to them. You see how tall Suki is and how he catches the ball and how he makes fun of people. He's very good at cutting down with words. Um, and at first when you meet Yamaguchi, he's just kind of hanging on and like going like giggling at him and like just kind of like a little like mean girl kind of group is what they seem like. Although later you get a lot more development for those two. Mhm. Yeah. For sure. Suki,
Yeah. Uh,
you don't find this out for, like, seasons, but Suki is just pretending not to care.
yeah. Well, it's interesting in this case. We get a lot of like character types introduced.
Mhm.
Like Tanaka is the really passionate one that is always out there screaming. Same with Hinata. Kageyama is more the calm type and serious type for the most part, and Tsuki is the cold and stoic, mocking type, cynical almost. Um, and Yamaguchi is the hype man for Tsuki.
That's true. That is a good yeah, that is sorry to interrupt. Mhm. Yep, I agree. That's a really good early moment of Hinata kind of taking Suga's words on board is like, yeah, I don't like this guy, but he is my ally and I'll do whatever it takes to win, including working with just this jerk. So, yeah.
Yes, and that's episode 3.
Mhm.
Now we get to the interesting part. The 3-on-3 match that gets them inside the club.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I believe it's like yeah, yeah, yeah. They were like practicing over and over and over again and Hinata like it seemed like he had to be so tired that he couldn't do it one more time and he did. He did it one more time. And like yeah, you can see in Kageyama's eyes that like he starts to set the ball and he's not even thinking about it. It's like instinctive. Like he sets the ball for Hinata for the first time and it's like okay, so they both accepted each other. At least they've accepted they can be on the same team for now. Yeah. Mhm.
Let's get to episode 4. Episode 4 starts with the 3-on-3 match, and I think it also starts with the backstory of the King of the Court, how we got there, and why Kageyama is not a fan of it. Because he got called the King of the Court as he was like a tyrant in the field and always demanded others to or commanded others to do things instead of working together with them and playing to their strengths. Yeah, but if you can move faster, that's like well, that's the thing he does. He could assess. I don't know if he can assess people. I know he can definitely assess how to get the ball exactly where it needs to be. That's
Yeah,
like
that's
his supernatural
yeah.
ability,
Yeah,
his
that's
talent.
Kageyama's genius is his ability to put the ball exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah,
His
with exact precision.
his drawback is that he can't communicate with his teammates and he can't read his teammates so that he can put the pieces together to put the ball where his teammates need it to be. Like he's always trying to put the cart before the horse in a way cuz like he knows the best place for the spike to happen in order to bypass the blockers or whatever situation they're in. He can see it so clearly in his mind and he wants things to go perfectly because he wants to win so badly. So he'll put the ball there and then he'll yell at his teammates for not being there in time to meet the ball. And that's where he got the nickname King of the Court. That's why his in like his I don't know if his final game in middle school, I think he got benched. Yeah, he got benched after it. So there was a game in middle school in a tournament where his teammates just actually literally turned their backs on him. Like he set the ball and it fell and no one hit it. And they were all told the coach, we can't work with this guy. You got to bench him. And he actually sat out, I think, the final game, which was heartbreaking. So yeah, it was actually pretty traumatic for the guy. He wanted to win so badly and he got rejected by his entire team.
He always tries to win the game alone, more or less. Like he
Yes.
did not see the other players as individuals playing
Right.
in a team.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. Mhm. Yeah, I think you're right. And yeah, it does go back to a conversation he had in an earlier episode with Hinata, where they were arguing about who was the best, like what is the coolest position, essentially. And Hinata was like, the spiker's the coolest because it goes past the blockers and he jumps real high and he's so cool and he gets the points. And Kageyama's like grabbing him and shaking him. He's like, no, the setter is the cooler because he's the coolest because he's the control tower and he makes everything work correctly. Like, yeah, I think you're very right that Kageyama sees it as a kind of a chess game. This is also why there was a fan theory when I was watching the show that, Kageyama is autistic.
Probably is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's ADHD. Yeah. Yeah, he's a little ball of energy. Yeah.
That's his
Yeah.
great strength. Um,
But yeah, I do think Kageyama is at least a little bit autistic. Yeah.
uh, yeah, that's actually an interesting thing of this anime. It does not take one position and highlights it as the best. It shows all the positions and highlights all of them. And all of them have cool things, like the libero keeps the ball up so that that the aces can actually shoot. The setter is the one that gives the perfect balls to the setter, so to the setters, to the spikers, so they can get
Yeah,
uh, the points in. So there's every role in there is very important. That's what this show really shows.
for sure. That's one of Nekoma's big things, but leaving them aside for now. Yeah.
They
So
come
the
later.
yeah. So yeah, this 3-on-3 match, it's very quick. It's one episode, and yeah, we see all of that happen. We see Kageyama falling back into bad habits, and then um and Tsukishima is this tall, incredibly tall blocker, just shutting them down, and they get past it. There's a lot of growth that happens in episode 4 with Hinata and
Yes.
Kageyama and Tanaka working on the same
And
side.
that's when we get the super team combo attack.
Mhm.
Their super quick uh attack.
Yep, where Hinata starts to jump before Kageyama has even started to set, and the set goes exactly to Hinata's hand, and Hinata spikes it and wins, and Hinata has his eyes closed, which, I've seen different, like, people trying to analyze this. Is this something that would really happen in real life? It's like, probably not. This is like the least realistic thing in the show, probably. But, it's fun and it's cool and it's a neat moment, and it's like showing like these two rivals who like despise each other, like connecting, like credits keeps harping on, like they're connecting. Kageyama connects the ball to Hinata. Hinata wins the point, and they have this amazing super quick attack, and it's
I mean,
pretty cool. It's very cool.
Kageyama Kageyama is a genius. He knows how to place the ball, and Hinata, as he self said after all of our shock that he had his eyes closed, yeah, he has no other choice than to just trust him.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep.
Yeah,
That's what
and
it is.
what other choice does he have? Like the setter has to set them the ball, and the setter is a genius, so he gotta make it somehow, and he just punches it down.
Yep. Yeah, and so they win the 3-on-3, and Daichi lets them join the club. Hinata and Kageyama have shown that they can get along, at least for now, on this side of the net.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Are there any other moments in episode 4 we need to touch on?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's so quick. It's like it barely counts.
I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
For
I
me, she looks like a normal person, and they
She's a very normal person.
yeah,
She's
and
just
they just go crazy.
To me, it just shows how horny high school boys are, because like she's a normal high school girl dressed in a tracksuit that's not even tight, and there's still like the camera focuses on her boobs and her butt for like a second. Oh yeah. Yeah, she's very pretty. Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. As we watch other shows, I will definitely talk about how much I hate fan service for the most part. Like, it just puts me off. It just takes me out of the scene. This is one of the few fan service moments that I don't really mind, because it's like it's from the point of view of high school boys, and they see a pretty girl and they can't help but look at her butt and her boobs. It's like I get it. It's stupid, and it's a tiny bit gross, but it's like it's just kind of how high school boys are, so it doesn't bother me that much. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There are a lot of yeah. Mhm. She just takes it all in stride. Yeah, she takes it all in stride. Yeah.
I
No,
think
that's
she's shy for the most part, just.
yes, you do learn that in the manga. I don't remember if the anime highlights it as much, but she's a very shy, very introverted person. Her name is Shimizu. Um, Kyoko Shimizu. And yeah, she's a good character. You don't see a lot of her, but what you see of her is really
In the
great.
early
And
seasons.
yeah, yeah. And she handles this group like she's the only girl in this gym full of high school boys, and she handles it about as well as you can expect. No, it's worth talking about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it shows that they're just normal. Like besides their passion for this sport, they're just normal high school boys. Like Tanaka is obsessed with Kyoko, but he's never rude to her. He never like actually like pursues her or harasses her. He just calls her beautiful, and then she slaps him and he goes away. Like that's kind of how their relationship works. And it's for comedy. It's just to show that these are just kids. They're just kids, and it works. It's fun. Yeah, as much and all the fan service in the show is really just about there being female managers and the different high school boys being, oh, they're so pretty. Yeah, feels realistic. Yeah.
So we get to episode 5. Episode 5 is mostly episode that teaches us the roles of the players and
Hmm.
some basic strategy, I think.
Yep.
They also train a lot and they get their jackets. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know how deep you want to go into this one, but the advisor Takeda announces a practice match against Aoba Yosai, which is a school that has a lot of old colleagues of Kageyama.
Hmm.
So he must set the entire game.
Konbini.
Convenient.
It means just means convenience store. Yeah. Konbini. Sugawara.
Sugewara.
Hmm. Yeah, and yeah, I don't remember episode 5 very strongly because yeah, it's
It
mostly,
didn't happen
but it
much.
is a lot of little character moments. Um, like Hinata gets his jacket and it has the 10 on it, which is the same number the little giant had, which is a big moment for him. Um, so he's like, it's fate, and other ones are like, it's a coincidence. But
No, I think that happens later when they get to
does it?
the matches.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Hmm.
It is a transition episode. It is the exposition and transition episode to get further ahead, to get to the training match next. So there is not much that happens actually. Yeah. Also, Hinata gets his role to be at the decoy.
Right.
So, with that, we get to episode 6, the practice match against the Aoba Yosai. Hinata still has nerves. That is the theme of his character, since he didn't get to play much before. Um, but that doesn't stop them from dominating with the quick attacks.
Yeah, we also see Kageyama interacting with a couple of his old teammates, um,
Oh
and
yeah,
seeing the kind of the bitterness there between them.
yeah. There's a small funny scene with Hinata and the one guy.
King Daichi, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, where they talk about how bad Kageyama is.
yeah, yeah. I remember that, and yeah, Hinata has a lot of scenes where he meets other team players from other teams in the bathroom, and this is one of them where he's like, oh yeah, he threw it, him throwing up on poor Tanaka, yeah. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
yeah.
it culminates in him doing uh, in him hitting the head of Kageyama.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, when Hinata is so like just can't control his limbs. And then Kageyama stalks up to him and there's like horror basically art and music going on showing how scary this is for Hinata, and Kageyama pats the back of his head and basically I forget exactly what he says, but it's like, okay, you did it.
Well,
That's the worst thing you can do, right?
yeah, yeah. What's the worst thing that could have happened?
So now you've
What
done
do
the
you think?
worst thing that could have happened, so like chill out. Yeah. Yeah, all of the music and all the buildup is indicating that Kageyama's about to, like, punch him in the face or something, and all he does is, like, basically tell him, "You did the worst, now calm down." It's like yeah, it's a good moment.
So and then Hinata is able to fight.
Mhm.
Actually, they are able to play, and I think at the end of it, we get to know the actual setup for Aoba Yosai. I think
Yeah, they
Oikawa Toru joins in.
yeah, he is not there right away, um he doesn't come until the very end of the match. So they've got, another guy setting for them for the moment. But yeah, in the meantime, we see, uh, Kageyama's old teammates, Kendaichi and Kunimi, who, like, they're expecting Kageyama to, like, be the same as he was when they were playing with him, where he was a tyrant ordering people around. They're very surprised when, um, like Kageyama tries to set and Hinata misses, and then King Daichi is expecting Kageyama to yell at him, and he doesn't. He just says, like, "Sorry, I missed that one," and they're both shocked. His old teammates are shocked.
Yep, that was the first change between his middle school and high school
hmm Yeah, and I
play
think
style.
we do see in this game a little bit. We see King Daichi getting a little jealous. It's like he wishes that he'd been able to play with Kageyama being this way instead of the way he was when they were playing together. But it's kind of like there's no way to go back.
You mean Tsukishi and Kageyama? I think, oh, because
Tanaka, yeah, the blonde Tsukishima,
that's
yeah,
Suki.
yeah. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, as long as we catch it. We're doing our best. Yes, episode 7, The Great King versus the
Yeah,
Great King is it called. Oikawa Toru is the senpai of Kageyama. He's the one who taught him some of the setting. That's why he got the title of Great King for Hinata and some of the Karasuno boys. And he enters the game. I think he was teased before and gets in this episode uh, reintroduced, and then has to do a little something before he can join. And when he joins, he got precise pinpoint serves that get a lot of points. Yeah, he is the best he can achieve without being a genius. That is his entire stick, his entire spiel. He's
yeah,
the not natural, but the trained one. He's the difference between skilled and a genius.
Yeah,
He is
this episode is all about setting up Oikawa as a powerful opponent. So it really is focused on him and his skills and his leadership. You can see that like there's a lot of girls that are screaming at him because he's a pretty boy, and it really irritates his teammate Iwaizumi, especially, who's his like very old friend from childhood. Uh, but yeah, a lot of it is about just how good Oikawa is at what he does.
Oikawa at this point is pretty humble because he got humbled before.
Mm.
That's actually a characteristic that is interesting in this, especially on how he acts around people.
Yeah,
Like he knows where his limits are. He knows he's not a genius. That's why he works so hard.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
and he enters. He shows a bit of damage uh, and strength, and Karasuno still barely wins.
Yeah, we also see Oikawa, how powerful his serve is. Uh, he's very good at doing a jump serve. So this is the first time I think in the show that we're really introduced to the jump serve and how powerful it can be. And
Well,
not only is it very powerful because it can win a point by like basically slamming the ball down the other side of the net without the other team being able to react. So you get a point, and then like that person keeps serving until basically they lose a point. So he can get a lot of points with this powerful serve. He's also accurate with it. Like he's aiming his serves at their weaker receivers, which in this game are Hinata and Tsukishima. So
uh,
that is, yeah, a powerful weapon that Alba Josai has.
Kageyama actually also does the
Mm.
jumping serve,
Yeah,
but he is
Kageyama does
not
the jump.
as good as
Correct. Yeah.
Oikawa did.
Yeah, Kageyama can also do a jump serve, but he can't aim it as well as Oikawa does. So that shows like the differences in skill between them. Where obviously Oikawa has like, 2 years of experience on Kageyama too, but he's put in a lot of work to be as good as he is.
Um, exactly. Karasuno wins barely, and Oikawa says next time Karasuno will lose.
Yeah. Yeah.
They will
And
win.
yeah, Oikawa, yeah, he sees the free quick that Hinata and Kageyama does, so he's aware that they have that weapon. Um, but that's not the only thing Karasuna has up its sleeve.
Yeah. As we see with the teasing at the end of the episode, when they do little when they practice play a bit, and I think it was Kageyama like practicing serves, and libero Nishinoya jumps in and gets it.
Mhm. Yep,
This
that's how the
also when we
episode yeah, that's how the
yeah
episode ends. That's also the second ending of the show is Kageyama practicing his jump serve.
yeah um and episode 8, unless you want to add anything.
Mhm. Yeah, we also get more hints about the coach that they're going to get. In this episode, they go to the the shop to get some meat buns. They've all been bought by the soccer team, and the guy at the counter throws three like food bars at them at Tanaka, Hinata, and Kageyama. And later, yeah, that guy turns out to be important.
It's out to be.
Mm.
Yeah. With that, we get to episode 8. he who is called Ace Nishinoya gets introduced. He is the libero. He's even tinier than Hinata.
Mhm. By like an inch, but Hinata is so happy.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and Nishinoya says he will not play with them until Ace Asahi returns.
Yeah.
There's also, I don't know if it's in this episode or one before, there's also a little scene with Sakewara and Yamaguchi, where Yamaguchi wants to throw away a broken broom,
Yeah, that's in the
and
beginning.
Sakewara
Yeah.
says no, it surely can be fixed. That is already like a little teaser for what happened to Asahi and Nishinoya.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, Nishinoya returns, shows that he has really good receiver skills. He was crowned as the best receiver in middle school. And yes, and we get also Asahi introduced.
Yep. And we learn about their trauma.
Yeah,
All of these boys have at least a little bit of trauma. So yeah, we find out that um in their they were so I watched this show with subtitles back when it came out, and they called the school was Datako, and then in the dub they call it Date Tech, which is it sounds so wrong to my ear.
no,
But it's Datako is the name of the school in Japanese. Their chant in Japanese was so good. It was like go go Datako,
let's go.
like
Yeah, go,
yeah,
let's go,
let's
Dateko.
yeah, it's so rhythmic, and then the dub version is so much worse. It's hilarious. But the game is great. Yeah, but anyway, so Datako, the Karasuno went up against Datako and they got shut down. Datako is known as the Iron Wall. Their specialty is blocking. They have one player. His name's Aone, Aone, Aone. He especially is just very tall, very broad, has very like a big wingspan, so he can move his hands very quickly to block. And they blocked every single one of Asahi's spikes in that game, and this like kind of broke him as a player because he was the ace. He was the one that all of his teammates relied on to get the ball through and make points when like he was the not only the last resort but the best resort. And he could not make any points. He got blocked every single time. So he blamed himself for the
his
loss of that game. Yeah.
his will got broken by the wall.
Yeah, yeah, and
As
Nishinoya was bound up in that because he also felt responsible because he's the libero, and his specialty is receiving, and he wasn't able to retrieve those balls when they were blocked, and so he also took some of the fault upon himself of not only losing the game but then Asahi choosing to quit for the time being. Although yeah, spoiler. But yeah, Asahi quits. He says he's never coming back, and Nishinoya also says that he's not going to come back unless Asahi comes back. Yeah, and that was when the mop got broken. Was their confrontation where Asahi was upset and they were kind of fighting a little bit, and they broke the mop, and that was bad because that's school property. Uh, and then like Nishinoya yelled at Asahi in the hall, and he bumped into the principal, and he knocked a vase off and broke it. And so Nishinoya got suspended from club activities for a while because he accidentally assaulted the vice principal. And Asahi had quit the club and said he wasn't coming back essentially. And so that's why they weren't at any of the previous episodes. They were both like kind of psychologically injured.
yeah, Nishinoya or Asahi.
Noya, they call him Noya as a nickname if that's easier.
Yeah, Libero.
libero. Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
Hinata and
Yeah.
Kageyama really want the ace, so they go see him and beg to come for him to come back.
Yeah, Hinata is he's got this starry-eyed thing about he wants to see the ace. He wants to see the ace in action. He thinks it's so cool. He wants to see the guy who can spike. And so I love this whole arc of kind of these first years kind of threading the team back together after it was a little bit broken. Or even actually not even a little bit actually broken. But yeah, we see how Hinata is able to connect. One of Hinata's big strengths is he's able to connect with people. We see that later with other teams too. Like he's just so it's so easy to like him. It's so easy to make friends with him. He's so quick
Approachable.
to talk to anybody, to make friends with anyone, to bring them in, to say, "Hey, come play with me, come do this with me." Because he was, for one thing, he was really lonely in middle school, and he wanted friends, he wanted teammates. I think that's part of why he's so eager to just take anyone in, but also it's like, yeah, it's just his personality. He's very outgoing and very bright and likable. So yeah, so this is an episode where we really see that shine, where like Noya's trying to act like he doesn't want to play, and then Hinata well, Daichi I think tells Hinata, call him senpai. He really likes that. and Hinata does that. He goes like, Noya, can you show me how to, or Noya-san, can you show me how to receive? And Noya's like, no, no, I'm not gonna play anymore. It's like, please, senpai. And then like Noya like crumbles instantly. It's like, I'll do anything for you. I'm gonna buy ice cream for you because I'm your senpai. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a spark. he talks about how much he loves something, and he reminds them of how, like, he also has that conversation with Noya about like how spiking is so cool, I love spiking. And then Noya says, no, 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 receiving is the coolest. You know what makes the crowd cheer the most, like even more than a good spike? It's when the ball almost hits the floor but you dive down and you dig it out. Like, people cheer for that. Like, the libero, for those who have never played volleyball and never watched Haikyu, libero is only allowed to receive. They cannot spike, they cannot attack. They are specialists for receiving, which is why a lot of times on volleyball games, volleyball teams, the libero will be like the shortest member. But Noya says that he didn't pick libero because he's short. He picked it because it's the coolest. Yeah, he digs Noya. And they asked Noya, "What did you do while you were suspended?" And he says, "I worked on block retrieval." Like, he says it so casually. What he's referring to is the Dadako game when Asahi got shut down and he couldn't retrieve the blocked balls. He spent the whole month he was suspended only working on trying to get better at uh, getting to those blocked balls and getting them off the floor. Like, that's like, he's a digger. He digs. So it was a really cool moment.
Nishi Noya is the third really passionate guy in the trio of passion.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
is Tanaka, Hinata, and him, Nishinoya.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. We see them later in the show. The three of them are like often together, like cheering or like encouraging their teammates or just being nuts. They do that a
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, yeah.
So, at
Yeah,
the end
and
of this episode, do we have more?
oh yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we gotta also talk about how Hinata lights the spark in Asahi. Cause right, because Hinata and Kageyama, like the first years and the third years are on different sides of the school. So, but they go to the third year hallway because they want to find Asahi and talk to him. Um, and they try to talk him back to coming back to the team. And this is where Hinata like lights the spark back in Asahi. He says, "Don't you remember how good it feels, like to feel that when you hit that ball and you feel that weight and you like see it?" And yeah, this is another moment where Hinata shines at just like igniting passion in other people or reigniting in Asahi's case. Yeah, that's yeah, he does say that. Yeah, he's talking about how there's this tall, tall wall in front of him, which is imagery that's been mentioned throughout the show. It actually, the first lines of the show are Hinata's voice saying, "There's a tall, tall wall in front of me, and I can't see how to get over." And by this time, he's come to the understanding that to get over that wall, he needs his teammates. He needs Kageyama. Well, he really trusts, like 100% trusts Kageyama to help him get over that wall by giving him those perfect sets. And so that's what he tries to articulate to Asahi is like, yeah, there's this, like, yeah, you faced a wall, I faced walls too, and but I can get over the wall because I have Kageyama. And um and and just reminds him and encourages him and tells him, yeah, things were rough but they can be different and you have to keep trying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the Nekoma. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
Not
not
yet,
yet.
but
We get to the end of episode 8, where Takita recruits the owner of the store, of the convenience store,
yeah,
Ukai,
so yeah,
as a
Takeda
temporary
is
coach.
Takeda plays them against each other. He tells Nekoma that they've got, the grandson of Ukai as the coach, which makes them agree to a practice match. And then he goes and he talks to Ukai Keishin. This is the grandson of the old coach, and says, "Yeah, I have a practice game with Nekoma. We need you to come back and coach." So he's like a little chess master there, saying like, "I'll tell them I've got this guy. Now to this guy we've got them, and that'll bring it together." And he succeeds.
Takeda also gets shown really often as really dedicated. He does
Oh
not
yeah,
know much about the game itself, but he does his best to support the team. He calls people like thousands of times to get them to
yeah.
agree to a match.
Takeda is great. He's a very good teacher, even because yeah, the way clubs work in Japan is you have to have a teacher to kind of sign off on the club and be the advisor, and they don't necessarily have to know about the club or its activities or understand it. They just have to like agree to kind of take responsibility. So Takeda agreed to do that, not knowing anything about volleyball. And then he works so hard. Like he's coming. These practices are after school, right? Like Takeda could just go home, but he chooses not to do that. He chooses to stay. He chooses to learn. He goes to all the practice games. He spends all this time calling other schools to try to get practice matches because these Japanese ball club, like these high school clubs, don't have like seasons like American high school clubs usually do. And so they have practice games and they have tournaments. And to get a practice game, you have to have connections with other schools and set them up like individually. But Takeda works so hard. He's such a good guy and such a good character. And he cares so much about these kids. There also was, I think, in the at the end of the Alba Josai match, he had this little speech where he's like, "I can see like these sparks being lit. Like this it feels like fate. Like there's this like alchemy happening, this chemistry." And some of the kids are confused, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry if that was weird, but it's kind of lovely and poetic, and you can just see that he really cares." About these kids that he's kind of taken as his responsibility. He does everything he can within his power to help them. At begging. Right. Yeah, so he's got his persistence, like, that's his tool, and he uses it. Yeah, that's another thing, like, many of the other characters, maybe they only have one thing they're good at, but you hone that, and you use it, and it turns out to be, essential. Yeah, Takeda, he's all about making those connections too.
He gives his best to the club.
He does everything he can. Yeah. I appreciate that.
So,
There are other anime with teachers that are just, like, boring or terrible, so this is a good teacher.
so episode 9.
Mhm.
Ukai agrees to coach until next big practice match. Next big practice match is the one against Nekoma. They're old rivals. But before that, we get to the practice game against his own little neighborhood association.
Mhm. Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ukai steps in as the coach and like immediately, like that day, he is calling his neighborhood association club and like, okay, you got to come to Karasuno. We're gonna have a practice game. I gotta assess what these kids can do. And people come. Like his a couple of his friends come from the club like that night. They're down for it.
And then Asahi,
Yeah.
and then when they want to start the practice match, Asahi tries to sneak in more or less and gets just like pulled in by Ukai because
Yeah.
they needed one more.
Yeah, Asahi's like just gonna like come by and like peek in the window and see how they're doing, and Ukai sees him and like grabs his collar and like, why are you late? Get in here. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. As he got remembered that this is a team game and not a single player game.
Right. Right. So yeah,
So
then we get the practice game with the neighborhood association. Um we do see uh so there's a member of the association, I think what is it? Shimada, I think that's his name. You see him bump into Yamaguchi like right at the beginning of the like just as he comes in the gym, and that turns out to be important later. That's an early breadcrumb. Um and then they figure out the players, and oh yeah, Kageyama and Suga have a conversation. And Suga goes and joins the neighborhood association side, and uh how exactly did that? Like Suga was like, "Yeah, I want to play, but we got to do what's best for the team. So if you got to play for this side, I'll play for this side, and we'll figure it out." Also, Suga, yeah, Ukai forced Asahi to join the neighborhood association side, and Suga wanted to set for Asahi, because he wanted him to make a spike again from his sets. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Right. And right. And Suga sets for them because like they know him and they trust him. And I think yeah, Suga also had a little bit of trauma from the Datago game because he felt like his sets were not good enough for Asahi to break through the wall. So he also blamed himself for that loss. So he yeah, so he yeah, yeah. So yeah, and through the course of the game, they do manage like Asahi and Noya both are able to overcome like at least a little bit of uh that bitterness of loss with Suga's sets. They remember how much fun it is to play, how much fun it is to play with Suga as their setter. Um and they keep seeing Hinata and Kageyama do their quick. That's the first time where Ukai sees it and is like, "Oh." And then I think yeah, Takada's like leaning around him like doing like a little eyebrow dance like, "You see? You see?" Yeah. Yeah, but there's an important moment in the game because during the Dachiko game, Asahi had stopped calling for Suga's sets. Like he would call Suga, and like Suga would set for him, and he'd stop doing that toward the end because all of his everything was getting blocked. So there is a very important moment in this match where like Asahi gets up his gumption, and like the camera focuses on him and like circles around him, and it's a big dramatic moment, and he goes Suga, and Suga sets for him, and he gets through, and like breaks past that trauma. Uh, so yeah, that was a cool moment. Yeah, yeah. This is yeah. Oh yeah, it is in this episode we got that full story. I told it earlier, but this is actually where you see it in the show.
But in this training match, Asahi gets his chance to spike through a triple block with his
Yeah.
strength
Yeah.
to show his ace status. So, was that
Yeah.
already everything?
Yeah, I think that's the climax of that episode is when Asahi calls for Suga.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was all about Asahi like getting his gumption back. Yeah, it's a great episode.
Yeah. Episode 10. Uh, the match continues.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah, and so then yeah, in um episode 10, I'm actually looking at a different wiki than what you're looking at. It's got a little more information. Um yeah, you're good, you're good. So I was just reminding myself cuz I've watched the show so many times, but even though I rewatched it last week, there's still so many moments that yeah, and in conversation it's kind of hard to like remember everything that's going on. But so yeah, in episode 10 the practice match continues. Um and like Ukai is assessing the team the whole time. Like he's thinking about who needs to be in what position, who would be best as starters, all of that. He also, tries to put some realism on it, saying you can't receive every ball. It's just not possible. Like spikes are going to get through. Like because he recognizes, that Noya is working on those blocked balls to receive all of them, and it's just he says it's not possible. Like he puts a little bit of cold water on that, but he's like he's very mm, grounded in how he views the team. But he also has a little bit of like he sees everyone's abilities. He's starting to kind of like really sympathize with the whole team and wanting to see them succeed and appreciating what they can do. And he's also noting where the gaps are and what they need to work on. You can see from this like right away that Ukai definitely has the bones of a great coach. Like he's from the beginning he's like already seeing things that Takada just can't see because he just doesn't have the knowledge and the skill set to see them. Takada is doing his best, but he cannot coach these boys because he doesn't have the skills. But Ukai does, and you can see that how he's instantly starting to like, yeah, showing these guys how to connect to each other, and what to do next. Um, and yeah, a lot of this episode is also about Ukai trying to decide who should be the main setter, the starter, if it should be Kageyama or Suga. He recognizes that Suga's trust and experience is very valuable. He can see how much Asahi relies on him, how well he gets along with Daichi and Tanaka and Noya and all of the other teammates who have been there. But he also sees just the overwhelming talent of Kageyama, and it's a tough call between the two of them because like either could lead them to victory. Um, but Kageyama has a higher probability if he can sand off some of those rough edges. So yeah, it's a, and we also see Ukai reflecting on how when he was a member of the team, he didn't have to think about this. He didn't have to think about who's going to be a starter and like and who would be best. Like he just was waiting to be selected. And he's also sympathizing with Suga because he's a third year and this is going to be his last year playing high school volleyball. And like wanting him to have the best experience he can, but also having to recognize that for the good of the team, you can't be thinking about individual. You have to think about the whole. Yeah, there are a couple of other important moments in this match. There's Shimada, the neighborhood association guy, doing a jump float serve, which is where you hit the ball with no rotation and it just kind of glides through the air, and because there's no rotation, it can drop or drift suddenly. So kind of like a knuckleball. And you on the sidelines, you see Yamaguchi kind of perk up when he sees this. There's also the moment where Hinata like is getting jealous of Asahi being the ace. He's like, "Oh, I want to be the ace." He's like spacing out, thinking about that, and he gets hit in the face straight by a volleyball. And yells at him, like, and yeah, that is a good moment because Kageyama can see that Hinata was spacing out because he was thinking about how cool it would be the ace, and he's like brings him back to earth and he says, "Hey, you don't. Yeah, you're a decoy, but that's still important. And even though you're not the ace, as long as I'm around." In the Japanese subtitles, they said you're invincible. In the dub, they say you're the greatest. But it's an important line because that means a lot to Hinata. Kageyama telling him that as long as I'm around, you're invincible or you're the greatest. Like you can do whatever. And you also hear the adults kind of afterwards. They're kind of chuckling at each other and they're repeating that line like, "As long as you're around, as I'm invincible." Man, what a oh, to be young again. It's like this kind of like a kind of passionate like high school kid thing to say. So yeah, just a couple other moments that stand out in that match.
Yeah, I think that is pretty much all the important stuff that happens in episode 10. And I think the title yearning is for especially for
Yeah, I think that's referring to Hinata feeling um yearning for the ace role.
yeah,
But yeah.
the next episode title is really decisive on who it refers to, I think, because episode 11 has the title Decision. And
Yes.
that's also when we see oh yeah, it starts with them jogging and Hinata getting lost.
Yeah. So they go to their Golden Week training camp, which is in where is it? No, it's still okay. So they're in like they're not at the Karasona school. They go to like a kind of little training camp. So it's in a place that Hinata is not as familiar with. So they go jogging and Hinata runs out ahead of everyone, being a crazy little knucklehead, and gets a little bit lost. And he runs into a guy uh, that he's never seen before, wearing a red jacket and just kind of sitting on a stoop playing a video game. And this is another moment where we see Hinata just being a little sparkle boy, just going up to anybody and talking to anyone. He strikes up a conversation. He notices that the guy has volleyball shoes in his bag. He's like, "Oh, you play volleyball?" I'm like, "Yeah, I play volleyball." And the other guy's very shy, very quiet. He doesn't talk very much, but as the conversation continues, you do see him kind of opening up to Hinata and like being drawn toward him. So that is a cool moment. And later that turns out to be the Nekama setter named Kozume Kenma. Prefers to be called Kenma. But other moments in this episode are just some hijinks at the training camp, like 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 Hinata thinking there's a ghost, and it turns to be Nishinoya with his hair flattened from the shower, so he's not as tall as he usually is. And then both of being freaked out by Asahi being tall and scary with his hair down. Um, and I think this is also the episode where Ukai settles on who's going to be the setter. And actually, Suga approaches Ukai and tells him that you know they want to win. The third years want to win. He wants to win, and if that means Kagayama has to be the setter in order for them to win, then he will accept that. But he still wants to play when he can, and if that just means that he substitutes for Kagayama or steps in when he's injured, that's fine with him. Um, like whatever it takes. And Ukai's a little surprised by this high school kid being so mature. Um, but I think he'd already kind of decided that Kagayama had to be the setter for them to have their best chances at winning. But I do think that Suga telling him this kind of put his mind at ease that that it would be okay and that he wouldn't be harming another kid by choosing this kid.
That's the decision of the title.
Yeah.
The who will be the setter, the main setter.
Hmm.
And Sugewara's decision to yeah, please take Kageyama. He is better than me in setting it.
Yeah. Hmm. No. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, like just like reading a summary of this episode, it sounds like filler, but when you're watching it, it doesn't feel like filler at all. Like there's character moments, there's little moments of comedy. There's that conversation with Suga and Ukai. There's the conversation with Hinata and Kenma, which is like this another spark of connection being made. Like there's even in what might like in other lesser anime be kind of a throwaway episode, there's a lot going on. Yeah, and this also is where Hinata gets the jacket with the number 10, like the little giant. And
Yes.
we meet the Nekama team and they man, I love Nekama.
Yeah, they're definitely built up as the other main team for this,
For
as they
sure.
are the promised rivals.
Right. Yeah, and just like Hinata and Kageyama are kind of the deuteragonists of the show, also each of the teams is kind of its own character, and the Karasuno and Nakama are kind of the deuteragonists of the show in that way also. So and you get to see like you see a small scene of Nekama having a practice game where there's these bystanders who are kind of peeking in and like, oh, uh, that shrimpy guy, can he even play? And then that turns out to be Kenma. He's the setter, and his friend Kuro comes over and says, yeah, that's our spine, brain, and heart. like, and you get the idea that Nekoma has a very kind of unique play style, and Kenma is at the center of it. So mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. Oh yeah, and if we didn't mention before, this is why people would talk about like this dumpster battle. This is going to be the crows versus the cats, and they wanted to have this dumpster battle, but they never met at nationals. The teams had been friends and rivals for years and years. They had all kinds of practice games together, and every time at the end of their practice game, they'd say, "We'll meet in a real game on a real court," and they never managed to do it. So there was this kind of broken promise in a way between the two teams, and that's part of why Ukai was so uh, eager to come back and try again, because like we gotta finish this.
We will get to that further. Why Ukai is back, or to Ukai being back, as the Nekoma uh, coach is still the old Nekoma, that one that
Mhm.
challenged the old Ukai.
Yeah, I think he's still there as an advisor, but they also have a main coach who is someone who fought directly against Ukai. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I think as we get into the battles, actually, the episodes come less episodic for us and more battle. Like because many things that were talked about right now are also fitting into episode 12, with seeing how each one adapts to the other.
Mhm. Yeah, through like the end of episode 11 and the beginning of episode 12, we get introduced to all of the Nekoma players and how almost all of them have kind of a mirror in Karasuno. Like it's so fun to watch them
Yep.
interact because Daichi and Kuro are both these kind of calm, steady captains with kind of a little bit of cunning to them, like some cleverness and like some secret plans that they'll keep hidden away and show at the right moment. You've got Yaku and Suga, who are both kind of like the older senpai who are like telling the younger ones off for being rude. You've got Takatoro and Tanaka, who are both like aggressive and like punkish in kind of a wholesome way, like standing up to each other, be like, "I'm gonna beat you if you mess with my friends," kind of way. And they're both obsessed with Kyoko. Turns out later, and then you've got like uh gosh, they're like and the coaches like Ukai and Naui is the head coach, and they're both like rivals from back in the day. And yeah, it's so much fun to watch them all like face off and line up. And Hinata has this kind of opposite in Inuoka, uh who is this first year on the Nekoma team, who is just a big ball of energy, just like Hinata, and we see that when they start their practice game.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun to watch the teams interact.
In episode 12, we also get. I wrote a funny note for that. Hinata gets blocked and decides to actually hit the ball. Um, he tries to do a quick attack with looking at it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. This is where that happens.
so so they in the training match, um, the the super quick attack actually gets adapted to by Nekoma, and then Hinata tries to uh, actually choose the direction he shoots the ball to. But since the ball is too fast in the beginning, they have to try a few times to actually get there.
Yep, and yeah, like I mentioned, he's got this Inuoka who's marking Hinata, and he's managing to like keep up with him, which is freaking Hinata out because no one has managed to do that before. Like when he sets his feet down and like sprints across the court, like no one has been able to keep up, and Inuoka is starting to be able to do that. Um, but it's honestly great. Like all of this is really good for both teams because they match each other so well. It's like the Bible says, iron sharpens iron. Like they just start honing each other. And like because Inuoka is marking Hinata and keeping up with him and managing to block him, Hinata is having to evolve and having to start like yeah, open his eyes during the strikes that he can try to aim. And it's really cool to watch. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and we see yeah, we see when Ukai says that line about we're being washed, you see this uh wide shot of the entire Nekoma team all with their eyes like gazing across the net, and yeah, they're a little bit creepy and they look a little bit cat-like. Um yeah, and we do get this is where we get a flashback of Kenma as a younger guy, and we learn where this like observation comes from is because Kenma was shy and he was really bad at interacting with people. His only real friend was Kuro, who was a neighborhood, like his neighbor, and he would come and drag him to go play volleyball with him. And Kenma didn't want to do it, but Kuro was persistent, so like Kenma just wanted to play video games. But it turned out that he started seeing volleyball as being a little bit like a video game. Like if you can't beat the level, you have to figure it out and try again until you can find the solution. And because Kenma was so shy and he didn't like um, people staring at him, he became very aware of where people were looking, and he became very good at like observing people and kind of understanding what they were going to do next. And that is one thing that makes Nekama so strong as a team is Kenma's observation skills, him being able to see what the other team is going to be able to do and then communicate to his teammates, and put them in the right place. And yeah, he's a control tower, just like Okawa, just like Kageyama is learning to be, just like Suga already is in his own way. And it's just a slightly different style. All of the setters in this show are so interesting. Mhm. Yeah, and they learn from each other too. Like I think this is Kenma does like a little like side glance, which is a fake out because it looks like he's gonna set in one direction, and so the Karasuna blockers start heading that way, but then he sets in the other direction. They make a point that way, and Kageyama notices this little trick. He pays attention,
Not
which is
just that,
yeah.
they do a lot of different tactics. Nekoma. Nekoma is specialized in keeping the ball in the air. None of them are actually uh, geniuses. They just are practically the calm people
Mm-hmm.
to keep the ball in the game, and that's all they specialize in. That's the training style of Nekoma,
Yeah,
the the the
yeah,
old coach.
yeah. The entire Nekoma is really good because they all trust each other. Um, very well, and they're very good at like passing the ball to each other and like trying different angles. When one thing doesn't work, they try it. Kema's like, okay, next we'll do this, and like they keep like pushing these different angles till they get through. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great contrast to Karasuno, and it and also like a lot of similarities there too. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, yeah. What we see actually quite well in this is that uh, Nekoma is building a steady, really stable foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Karasuno is putting everything they can, all tactics, all kinds of attacks, all everything, just like ragtag, taking it from everyone they fight against and trying to make it their own.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a spear versus a shield kind of dynamic. Yeah.
Yes, and with that we get to episode 13, Rival, where the sets end in Krasuno losses.
Yeah.
But they do, of course, more training.
Yes.
They add 4 more sets, 2 more games.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. One of the really fun moments in this episode is when like they finish the first practice game, and Hinata yells out one more time, and everyone's like, yeah, of course, one more, of course we're gonna do it again, and they keep doing it again and again until everyone's like exhausted and falling down, except Hinata, who's still calling for one more time. But yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, this is where, Hinata evolves, and he's learning how to open his eyes and try to aim the ball. And it's not working at first, but Ukai leaves him in. He says like, in this might have been the previous episode. Ukai said like, in a regular game, yeah, I would take Hinata out, but this is a practice game and he's learning something, so I'm gonna leave him out there until he figures it out. And that's what this is for. It's like both teams like learning from each other and evolving and strengthening their weapons and gaining more.
it also builds towards future matches.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and that is the end of the training camp for them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, Ukai, after being, I don't think it's teased, more like act on until he decides to become the permanent coach, because the old coach of the Nekoma uh, just teased him like that at the end of the game, and they decide once again, their rivals we meet at the nationals. They both have respect for each other,
Mm-hmm.
and they see that each of the teams has the chances to actually get to the nationals this time and meet up again.
Yeah, yeah, you see that definitely at the end of the episode when they, the teams are interacting, they're cleaning up the gym and they're talking to each other and like Hinata and Inuoku are both jumping up and down and yelling at each other, excited about how good they both are. Oh, a Japanese joke that you might not catch is like Nekoma is the cat team, that's Neko. Inu is like dog. So Inuoka is the one like puppy in a team of cats. Everyone else is quiet and observant, and he's like this ball of energy that jumps around. Yeah, and this is also where we see Takatora and Tanaka bonding over both of their like distant adoration for Kyoko. hmm Yeah, yeah. Like I said, in Japan, you have to have connections with other schools to set up practice matches. So that's what Nekoma and Karasuno were for each other. And now they have that connection again. So now Takada has someone he can call when he like needs to set up a practice game. And yeah, they live far away from each other because Karasuno's in Miyagi, which is this kind of provincial province. That you know what I mean. And Tokyo is Tokyo. But yeah, having this like team that you're super close to is really important for high school games in Japan.
Yeah. A thing you learn in any sport you do that is competitive is that the best way to actually learn it is by doing it against other people.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
The better
Absolutely.
is the learning curve.
hmm
So now we got them being all energized
Yeah.
because of the matches.
Yeah.
Um,
And yeah.
we get to the the actual meet, or like this was all just prelude to what comes next. Then because what comes next is the preliminaries
Mm-hmm.
where they fight against the Tokonami and Dateko.
Yeah. This is where the tournament begins. The
Yes,
first tournament arc of the show.
exactly. The first time they actually get on stage and have official matches.
Mhm. You had to have agreed. Yeah, this is the spring high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Studying, yeah. Yeah, Japanese culture. Yeah, Japanese culture is very focused on like getting good test scores in your final year of high school so you can get a good college, so you can get a good job. It's a very regimented kind of lifestyle. So
But
yeah.
but if you're
But
good at the sport, you
if you
can
can get a
also get,
sports yeah.
yeah, you can, if you're like actually really really good, you can get to a university with a uh, what is it called? Yeah, with a scholarship on that with that sport.
Mhm.
So there's also that, and that's also why they decided how they decided later on. Um,
This isn't the spring high. It's the inter high. This is in like June, which the Japanese school year starts in April. So this is like 2 months into their third school year.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah. It is like yeah.
yeah. It
Normally
is.
after this, third years would quit.
Yeah. Um, exactly. Uh, yeah. Now we get the episode 13, 14.
Hmm.
We get the record revealed with the Tokonami from their perspective at first, and how they see things. They are a small team that never won so far. Or, yeah, never won. Um, and they see that their enemy is the Karasuno, and they know the title of the wingless birds and the
Yeah,
fallen enemy, and they think maybe now they have a chance.
yeah, yeah. And the writer Furodate who wrote the manga, it was so good at giving us a in with even this first round team, which because Karasuno are the protagonists of the show, you expect that they'll beat them, right? But there's some stakes here because Daichi's like his friend from middle school, plays on this team. And like he remembers playing with Daichi and like it's a fond memory. And like they both said, maybe if we both play high school, maybe we'll meet on the court someday. So there's that already from the beginning of the episode. You have this connection to the characters you already know and care about.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Then we get their fly banner, which
Oh yeah,
is
it's such a cute scene.
yeah, which is a big motivation, especially with the manager announcing it,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is not her strong suit.
No, Kyoko did all this work digging out this banner that was like buried in a storeroom for years because they didn't need it because it was meant for to go to like nationals, right? Or to big tournaments and like she dug it out and she cleaned it and she brought it back and hung it up herself and then and yeah, it's shown in like she never talks if she can help it. And she's standing up there on the railing behind the banner and she says, "You can do it." And there's this beat of silence. And then all of the second and third years, like tears just pop out of their eyes. For sure. Yeah, it's really sweet.
And we get more insight on Hinata and Kageyama, how they act on each other with making their races against each other,
Oh yeah.
which is also a theme.
Right, right, right. Shiratorizawa is the name of the school.
Yes.
The like the big dude at that school, his nickname is Ushiwaka. Um, and so when everyone in the province knows about this guy except for Hinata, because he's been like at this middle school that didn't have any really history with volleyball. Um, so everyone else like, oh, you've never heard of Ushiwaka? Yeah, he's the guy to beat. Like, yeah, you think Oikawa is the great king. No, Ushijima he's actually the great, like he's the biggest guy. He's the one you have to worry about the most. And we see a little bit of him like practicing, and he's this big, very tough dude. Looks like a full-grown adult instead of a high schooler. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
and
is once again a transitionary episode between the
we
uh
do get we get the bracket. Like their first game is against this Tokonami High, which they probably not going to be much of a threat, but they're still gonna not gonna slack off. But then their next round, if they beat that, is gonna be Datako, which is a big deal
yeah.
because because they lost against them last time, and that's where Noya and Asahi and Suga all got some trauma. So like
Yeah.
beating them will be a big uh, wall to overcome, like almost literally. And then if they beat Datako, their next game will be against Alba Josai, which is another big wall because that's Kageyama's right, like his former teammates and his former senpai, and they already beat them in a practice game. Although it was like their first practice game ever, really, so it didn't feel like that much of a loss. But still, they're gonna have to beat them. And then if they beat Alba Josai, then they will face probably Shira Torizawa. So, I mean, unless
So
something really weird happens in the bracket.
14, the transitional episode between the training camp, and the actual first match, which starts in episode 15, Revival,
Mm-hmm.
which talks about how Karasuno is actually not anymore the fallen enemy,
Oh yeah,
which Tokonami sees really fast. They
yeah,
get into a bit of intermingling with Tokonami, a few players talking shit, and then
yeah.
Tanaka hearing that. Tanaka
Normal
is
high school.
always hearing anything.
He is. He's always on top of that.
Yeah, he he knows the tea, and always tries to get into some stress there,
Yeah.
into some fights, and gets pulled back always.
Yep. Yeah,
And yeah,
there's some normal high school shit talk.
yeah. They they then get into the battle, and it shows really quick that Karasuno is not the fallen enemy anymore. They actually gained their wings back as they got the this quick attack and their ace spikes and a good receiver with like I said before, the best receiver of in the middle school. Um, yeah, the energy and the crowd is really fast in seeing that Karasuno is there, and at this point, Aoba Yosai watches this match to see where Karasuno stands now, and some Aoba Yosai people ask why they are even trying as hard as they do.
Hmm. But Oikawa shuts that down. Like he's like, no, you'd never slack off. Like you can't leave any gap. They'll take
Yes.
advantage of it. Yeah.
Mm.
Oikawa, because Oikawa is smart. He is a smart guy.
Yeah. Also, yeah, he's a smart and humble guy. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
Um, I think that is the episode 15 in the rough sense.
There is a moment of Aone from Datako, like zeroed in on Asahi.
Oh yeah,
uh,
yeah.
and then his teammate Moniwa comes over and stops him. Because and he tries and he apologizes. He says, "Yeah, he just likes to zero in on the ace. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My teammate is a weirdo." Um, uh, we also see the Karasuno girls team getting ready. And
Yes.
the captain Michimiya is there. Uh, I think I don't think it's this episode. In the
No, no,
next
no.
episode we see her interacting with Daichi. Yeah.
Yes, the next episode is the first emotional one in this.
Winners and losers. Like yes, the first
Yes,
time I watched the show, this episode made me cry.
winners and losers. I am someone I can watch a show 15 times and it will still make me cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, because winners and losers is the first episode where we see now that we are actually in a real game, there are really real stakes for that.
Mhm.
Only
Mhm.
winners stay on the field. Losers don't play anymore.
Mhm.
So they got the emotional talk with Tokonami, captain, the old friend of Daichi. When back in the day, Daichi was already a very motivational character, which is part of why he's such a good leader. He knows how to speak to people and how to get in the right mindset.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and as we see that, there is always like uh, the match Karasuno plays in, but from the perspective of the Tokonami, and on the other hand, from the Karasuno girls team. They always switch in between those both. As we got Daichi, who influenced both of their captains
Mhm.
in this.
Mhm.
And in the late game, right before losing, Tokonami and the female Karasuno team both get their will to fight back, in their will to try anything. The game is not lost until the ball hit the ground the last time.
Mhm.
That
Mhm.
is a big part of this theme of this episode.
Yeah.
No matter what is going on, or no matter how bad the stakes are, you still have to try and give you everything. And they see that Karasuno, even though they are so much an elite, they don't hold back. They are still going at it with all they got. They don't try to undermine their enemies by just saying just going half the way and not the
No.
full way.
Yeah, absolutely. Respect. You gotta to respect the other team. You play your best. You don't
Yeah,
cut any
they
corners. You
they
you
still
give it your
take it
all.
really
Yeah.
serious,
Mhm.
and they're the only ones in the hall that take them serious. It's only the Karasuno crew who still has respect for the enemies in that sense.
Yeah. Mhm. Yep. Yeah, it's a really good episode. Seeing Daichi's leadership and how he influences the other captains, both of them, and how they both give their all, and how Michimiya is strong for her teammates. Even
Yeah,
though before the she had a conversation with Daichi in the hallway at school where she's like, I feel like I didn't do enough. Like I let myself down, let my teammates down, and we're probably gonna lose. And Daichi just basically tells her, you can't say that. Don't say you're gonna lose. Say you're gonna do everything you can to win, or something like that. I don't remember the exact words, but it bucks her up, and she's like, "You're right. I have to. I can't act like a loser. I have to act like a winner, even if I do eventually lose." Like, and she, like her teammates are like missing receives. They're making mistakes. They didn't come to morning practice. They're like blaming, like, and she's just like, get up, keep going. uh, you got to stand back up and try again. Like, she's so strong for her teammates, and it's really cool to see that from her. But then later, after they lose, and some of the girls are crying in the hall, she takes herself off to a corner and cries by herself, because like that's what a leader does. You can't let them see you cry, but you still have to cry. So she finds a place to do it. It's a really emotional scene.
yeah, exactly. That's the emotional spike is when they gave everything and then lost.
Mm-hmm.
Both the Tokonami's team and the female Karasuno team, and how they took it. You can really see that both of them were really emotional hit by this.
Mm-hmm.
As again, losing means you don't get to play more, and the goal is play more.
Yeah, and there's a
That's where the fun is.
The greatest scene in this episode, I think, is the montage of like all, because the first round of tournament is brutal. Half of the teams lose, you know. So if that's 32 teams in a game, that's 16 teams who lost in the first round, their first game, and it's over for them. And you get a montage of each of these teams, both like girls and boys, like just like collapsed in the hall, like sobbing, trying to be stoic and not show their emotions, or just like breaking down. And it's like, yeah, it's really affecting. And I've never played sports. I've never been on a team striving for a goal together in that way, but I still felt it. I still understood what all of these kids were going through and how it felt, and it was just like really emotional, really effective storytelling. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. And yeah, there's a lot of them like blaming themselves or questioning themselves and thinking, what if I had trained a little more? What if I pushed a little harder? What if I had done like one more practice set? Would it have made a difference? Like there's a lot of that, which is actually healthy. Honestly, like that pain is part of life, and it's healthy to feel that pain so that it can push you harder and farther in the future. But it's hard, it's painful, it hurts.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this episode is
You,
so good.
and no matter what kind of sport you do, you learn that pain is part of the growing process.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So now we get to one of the two long-awaited matches.
Hmm.
We get to episode 17 and 18, the Iron Wall and guarding your back. The Iron Wall gets introduced in episode 17. The first time the enemy team gets their own cheers in the background, as the
Mm-hmm.
Iron Wall is one of the big teams they got.
Yeah, they're in the top four of the
Yeah,
province. So yeah, they have their team in Japanese is so good. Go go data go, let's go data go. It's great.
yeah. So it is also very important because Dateko, the Iron Wall, is the team that broke Asahi.
Mm-hmm.
And with breaking Asahi, also damaged Sagawara and Nishinoya.
Mm-hmm.
Their specialty is blocking spikes and aces. They want to break the ace, and if the ace breaks, the entire spirit of the team also breaks down a bit.
Yep, but
So
things are, different now. They've got uh Noya has spent all this time practicing block retrievals. He's confident. He's a morale boost to the entire team, telling everyone, I can do it. Like, you just keep hitting. He says it like directly to Asahi. You just hit as many times as you need to, and I'll get every single one. Like, he's bragging, but he means it. And they've
that
got,
comes to really epic scenes.
yeah, yeah. And they've got their new first years. They've got Hinata and they've got Kageyama, this genius setter, and this little jumping guy, this little jumping bean, uh, who is such a sparkling little bright sun on the court that he draws everyone's attention. The greatest decoy, as they keep calling him, and that is Ukai's plan, is to like use Hinata as a decoy to draw the other side's attention and draw all their blocks so Asahi can break through.
Yeah, and
Right, right.
yeah, yeah. It starts actually really good for Karasuno because Karasuno at this point got many different tactics they can use, And the iron wall only works so good, especially when the ball is faster than you can react. The quick attack from Hinata and Kageyama, the super quick attack does not yet get used. I think throughout most of the first set. But they do the small quick attack where Hinata can actually check where to shoot. We learned that the Iron Wall and their biggest defender is actually really perceptive and fast, despite his size. He waits for the ball to go anywhere, and then jumps to the side where the ball goes, and he can intercept balls by changing his block.
Yeah, they make a big deal about how Daidaco has a special blocking technique that most teams don't use, that they call read blocking, where they wait for the set before they do the block jump, whereas a lot of them will just sort of move on instinct. So, yeah, and the Karasuno team has not faced a team. This form of the Karasuno team has not faced a team that uses read blocking before.
Yeah,
So
but
this is something up to adapt to.
This is not a problem for them in the beginning, as they got many different ways to attack. They got the time differentiated one where they attack like a bit after the people actually jump to block. They got the multi attack where multiple run forward and one attacks from the back, and they got the quick attack. They learned from Nekoma all these moves.
Yep. They learned a lot.
Yeah, that's when the training match pays out. The first time. So the first set is going pretty well actually for them, as the Iron Wall has actually to adapt to their attacks. The second set is where it gets interesting, because they go all out. I think it's pretty much at the end of the first set where Hinata uses the super quick attack and stuns his enemies, because he just smashes the ball so hard and fast into their court that they don't even can react to it. They don't even see it. And that's when also they think it's luck. They don't think it's actually possible to do such a thing for them. But then they redo it again. And that's when they start to focus on Hinata as the decoy. Which plays to the second episode 18 of the match. This is where it gets epic in this fight. Where it gets really epic. As here they go all out. They have to go all out. We get epic moves like Nishinoya receiving a ball with his foot because he couldn't get down fast enough with his body, showing that he is a brilliant libero. And we get Asahi calling out for the ball 3 times before actually breaking through.
Yeah, he doesn't give up.
This time he is supported by the team, and he knows that. And everyone gives their all. It is always when they get a push to their max that these little scenes, and when it gets to the higher points, when these little scenes, you see how much effort goes into this. And in one moment you think, oh no, this ball will go down, and Karasuno will tank a point. but then the libero actually catches the ball
Mhm.
and they can continue. Because at this point, the wall has really well blocked their attacks. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
also the symbolism in the match itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Because yeah, like Asahi, like him breaking through three blockers in the practice game against the neighborhood association. That helped him come back, but actually doing it against Dajiko is like this is like that consummation. Like this is the actual like finishing of that kind of little arc with him of like he was broken by this wall and now he has broken it in return. Yeah, it's a pretty epic moment for sure. Mhm. Mhm. For sure.
yeah,
This is the real like even though yeah, this moment is very very important. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's really good. I really like this this show and I like this episode. For sure. Yeah,
also
it's yeah. And like I like the Datako kids too. Like I said, like there's no characters in this show that I dislike really. Like you see the moments between them. Like Fudakuchi's this little like you know, like mocker who likes to make fun of the other team, but like his teammates like him. You've got Moniwa, who's this third year captain who's trying to keep everybody in line, and Aone's actually just a big teddy bear. Like he's just a big sweetie. And like Moniwa has to like kind of take care of him because he's, you know, just so quiet and doesn't like to talk and
he's social.
yeah, yeah, the most sound, I don't think he even has a voice actor, or if he does, all he does is, like, growl, like, there's a couple of
Yeah,
times where Aonai makes, like, a growling noise, and
there
that's
is
about it.
actually he has exactly I think 4 words he says.
Yeah, yeah, but he's like but you can s
And that's
but the writing and the art and the animation is still good enough for you to understand his character and what he's all about, like, he's there to win, he wants to make these amazing blocks, he works so, so hard for his team, and he loves his teammates, and he loves the game, like, you can see all of that just from his, like, his expressions and his body language, it's great. Mhm. Yeah, it's an awesome show. It definitely had its spikes of fandom back in when it first came out. I don't know if it still does. I don't know if there's like any anime reviewer who would like put it in like a top 10 list, but I would. I would I would put it at the top of like sports anime for sure. Maybe not shonen in general, but of sports anime that I've watched, this would be number 1. Mhm.
my 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 personal favorite sports anime is Food Wars.
Yeah.
So
That's I think of that as being more just a not a sports anime, but a shonen in general of like a battle
when you
anime,
have
but that's fine. That's fine.
competitive cooking, that's
Sure.
enough sport for me.
You could
That's
classify that as sports, I guess. Sure, why not? You do sweat, that is true, and there are
yeah,
people watching and judges, so yeah, sure.
yeah, and you have to train to get
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Right.
anyways, another big theme. That's why the title of the episode got where it is. In episode 18 is guarding your back, Nishinoya's
Mm.
defense.
Oh,
It
yes,
is
he's so cool.
because Nishinoya's defense or receives got broken by the blocks that Asahi couldn't have enough chances to break through the wall. And this time around, Nishinoya was there, and he did give his all to
Mm.
get the to give them to guard them their backs,
Yeah, and we didn't
so they
mention,
can
but
focus on attacking.
yeah, Nishinoya does have this nickname of like guardian deity, or in the English dub they just say guardian, but it is like in the Japanese it's like a kind of like a little
Yeah.
local god kind of
In
name. And in this episode he proves why he has that nickname.
Germany, funny enough, it's uh, defense god.
Defense god. I mean close enough. That is what he
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Mhm.
yes. That was the emotional height of this. Next to the amazing receive that Nishinoya had with his foot,
Yeah. That was such a good moment.
where it goes slow mo and you
They
see him how he stands
mhm.
there. The ball is falling right next to him, and then he in his 40s. I can't get there fast enough, and then you see just how he goes down there with his leg and catches it still.
Yeah, and it's like a
So it goes
perfect
up.
somehow it goes like perfectly up in the air like at the right speed and momentum to get to the right like yeah yeah like we said about with art animation they knew where to spend their budget like they spent the budget on that moment to give it the drama and beauty and importance that it needed. Yeah, it's a cool moment.
Yeah.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I love it when Aone specifically goes over and shakes hands with Hinata because like this little shrimpy
Yes.
kid like beat him and it's such a cute moment. I love it. Yeah, yeah. Right,
Yeah.
because Aone's a
Yeah.
second year and Hinata's a first year, so they're probably gonna
It
face off again. Yeah.
it also plays for the future season,
Mm,
and there he accepts Hinata as a formidable enemy. Well, it was said in the beginning when he locked on Asahi that he makes out the ace of the team
mhm.
and locks in on him.
Right.
And at this point, he saw Hinata,
I
which is a
never thought
great
about that.
thing
You're
for
right.
Hinata as well.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I never thought about that. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, a lot of things right here in this first season build up to how they interact with each other in future seasons. That's also what makes it a great show in total so far. That they build up slowly and steadily, and everything is so connected at a later date that they can give many payoffs with it. So they are done with the match. They won. Next one on the line is Aoba Hyosai. And we see in between the fights as they go home and are done, um, we see that both Oikawa and Ukai get recordings of the matches.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's a little sequence with the TV showing Oikawa and not even their match, even though they won against one of the big four.
It was, it was so rude.
Yeah, not even.
That was a really funny moment. Yeah.
So, and after that, Oikawa sits there and studies their their match, and they and Ukai sits there and studies the Aoba Yosai's matches. And then we get to episode 19, the big battle against Aoba Yosai and the final of the season.
Mm-hmm.
A final match in 6 episodes.
Right, right. I definitely had some of that feeling the first time I watched. Like, of course they're gonna win. Anyway.
Yeah, and this
So.
one, we see the title of episode 19 shows why the feeling of every setter is differently in the team, because setters get compared to conductors in
Mhm.
music. Depending on the conductor, a song can sound completely differently. And that's what the setters do. And that's the difference between Oikawa and Kageyama. So, episode 19, they get there, they start a match, and Oikawa and his team Aoba Yosai dominate completely in the beginning. As
Mhm.
Oikawa has seen through many of the tactics and always, and they did not have any other ace up their sleeve. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Also, Oikawa uh, always tries to get 100% out of every player.
Mhm.
The players are strong on both teams, but Oikawa is just a setter that knows the strength of the players really well.
Yeah, we'll see that a lot more later in the match, but yeah, it'll be clear later.
Yes. As we get first, of course, Oikawa going for the direct attack and getting a point, and then Kageyama answering that with a surfer dump counter,
Mhm.
where he does the same.
Yeah, it's a fun
And
moment.
yeah, and it slowly builds up that Kageyama has psychological stress and starts falling back. In episode 20, do we have something 19 to add?
Nope, I don't think so. Like it's all set up really for the match to come, and yeah, the big
Yeah,
moments are at the end where Oikawa does a setter dump, and then a few moments later Kagayama does one too, like trying to say, "Hey, I can do it too." Like I'm like a challenge from the
yeah,
former kohai to the former senpai.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of world building. We do see the people a couple of guys from the neighborhood association come to watch the game. Takanoe and Shimada. Shimada has been coaching Yamaguchi, and they very briefly mention that.
So, episode 20. The title Oikawa Toru is not a genius.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the main difference between Oikawa and Kageyama.
Yep. And also Ushiwaka in a different way.
Also, Shivaka, yes. We
Yeah.
will see a lot of backstory for Oikawa in this
Mm-hmm.
battle, I think later on. Um, Oikawa figures out the quick attack signal.
Yes.
Kageyama starts to panic and gets faster in his sets, uh, which leads to. And he falls back to trying to control the field again
Mm-hmm.
to get
Mm-hmm.
around the blocks of the enemy. And that's when Sugawara gets changed in.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of great moments in this episode, just showing how good Oikawa is at connecting to his teammates. Like we see that particularly with Kendaichi, who was Kageyama's old like guy he yelled at. And we see that with Oikawa, he like Kindaichi apologizes for messing up, and Oikawa's just like, it's okay, we'll get it next time. And like and like he talks to his teammates and like asks them how they liked this set or that set and like what they want to do better. And like it just, the whole episode is just contrasting between Oikawa and Kageyama, and we can see it like it's not just spoken, it's clearly shown as like Oikawa is keeping very cool, very collected. Like he studied Karasuno extensively. He knows exactly what they're gonna do, when they're gonna do it, and he knows how to counter them. And yeah, Kagayama's getting freaked out because this is, his old senpai. This is the guy he looked up to, who was like the best setter in Kagayama's mind when he was in middle school, and so he always thought he would have to beat Oikawa in order to be the best. And now Oikawa is showing him straight to his face, you can't beat me. And it's like he's getting psychologically undermined. But Yukai is a good coach, and he sees this. And I think they ran out of their timeouts really quickly because of just how much Alba Josai was overwhelming them. So they used their timeouts early in the set. So the best thing that Ukai could do was substitute and call in and have Suga switch out for Kageyama.
Yes. And yeah, go on.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
Also, it shows the psychology of Kageyama.
Yeah, and the
At this
psychology of
point,
yeah, of sports even, like, just how, like, one
yeah,
team
yeah,
being slightly better than the other can lead to this, like, runaway effect where one team gets freaked out and or even just one player getting freaked out can, like, cause this domino where the whole team is just kind of slowly, like, losing their pace, making more mistakes because they're seeing the other team not make mistakes. It's, like it's very interesting from a psychological perspective.
yeah. Because we see at this point still Kageyama, why he breaks is because he tries to control the battlefield. He
Mhm.
tries to control the way it works, the way they move, and which is what led to him getting benched the last time.
Right, yeah.
The difference is this time he doesn't get discouraged or benched because he isn't useful. He gets benched to get a quick break, and Sugewara does give him a little speech for that as well,
Yeah.
so that he doesn't feel bad, but uh, he can get a cool head while watching the
Mhm.
team work.
Yeah, he's too closed off to accept it. Yeah, yeah. Mhm. I love
Yes.
this yeah, this next episode, Senpai's
Then
true
let us
abilities.
transition this exactly. Senpai's true abilities. Su-
No, you're good.
Sugawara
I
goes
love this
in
episode.
and calms everyone down. He
Yeah.
is a friendly player that is a bit playful with them
Mhm.
and wants to see how they're doing, where they're at, and he is really communicative. That's the difference between him and Kageyama.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
is he is not a genius. He can play the standard sets, but he uh, learns the people that he's playing with. He's also the only one in the team that can command Daichi.
Yes. Yeah. No, in the manga when Suga comes on the court, it's remarked that he's refreshing. I don't know if they use that word in the I don't think they when I rewatched, I didn't notice that word being used, but it's like you really feel that watching it or reading it. Like he comes on and like the whole atmosphere changes. It's like he's got a big smile for everyone. He's calm and cool and collected. He's very deliberate in his actions. He's very kind with his words. Like it's just like a cool breeze like rushing through the court and like washing away all the frustration and kind of malaise that everyone was getting caught up in. Mhm. Mhm.
And we can Kageyama realizes something as he sees that even though Sugawara is not as good as Kageyama in ball control and everything and skill, he gets a lot of points in by knowing the strength of the players and knowing that the players have a head on their own. Like Tsukishima, he is not stupid. He knows what he does, and Sugawara plays with that. Also, he analyzed the enemies while he was on the side and showed the weaknesses, how to block things. That
Mhm.
even Hinata could block the guy with a high jumping power.
Yeah. Yeah, Suga is very smart, and he's got a lot of experience playing this game, so he's able to see weaknesses or even just habits of the other team where they can exploit a habit to get a point in. Yeah. Yeah, they're great captain and vice captain. They work together super well, and they've known each other for a long time. And everyone on the team can feel like they're kind of control.
Okay. Um, Episode 22, Evolution. Also, Big Papa Petro in chat said he cannot hear two creds at all. Just want to point it out.
Oh,
I don't know. I hear you over Discord. Yeah, weird, kinda. Okay, okay. Let's see. Um, Technical difficulties in the first episode have to be expected. We will improve. Yeah. Uh, yeah. As Kretz plays attack Boomer, we go over to episode 22, Evolution. Kageyama looks at the match and sees how he could play better. Sees things that he hasn't before. As before, he tried to really pull the strings and decide where the players have how the players have to play. But now he sees with Sugawara's setting that they have a mind on their own, and Kageyama returns and uh, starts to tailor sets to each spiker how they want it.
yes.
Um,
Yeah,
yes,
Kageyama learned a lot very quickly. Um, and it's one of the fun moments is like when he steps back on the court and he tries to smile the way that Suga did, and it comes out just like looking kind of weird and creepy, and Hinata's like, "Stop that!"
yeah, yeah. Oikawa at this point sees there is something going on, but
Yes.
it's not yet big enough that he would say he changed, that Kageyama really changed. That comes after.
Yeah, in this episode, we see for the first time Kageyama trying to communicate with Tsukishima.
Yeah.
They never figured out how to get along, even as Kageyama has learned how to get along with Hinata and like everyone else he works with. So, bit of a problem since Tsukishima is a starter. He's very tall, so he's in the starting lineup. So, Kageyama has to learn how to communicate with this guy. But Suki is so prickly, and Kageyama is kind of prickly in a different way. So their spikes have been kind of bouncing off each other. But after watching Suga and how he interacts with everyone, Kageyama really tries. Um, and then Suga also gives him another little pep talk, like just be direct, and that's what Suki needs. He needs to be just asked directly, how do you want me to set to you? And Suki says, give me more time so I can choose. Like almost speaking as slowly as I am right now. Like and that's what they do. And it works.
Yeah, really direct. They have to really directly talk
Yeah.
with Tsukishima.
Is this better, chat? Can you hear me now?
So
Mm,
I will listen into the stream for a moment,
yeah.
and we get to episode 23.
Yep. We also get the flashback
Yeah, still
of
quite
yeah, Oikawa getting beaten by Shiro Torizawa, but getting a reward for like the second best setter essentially, and like he's like almost dying of jealousy. Um, and yeah, then Kageyama joins the team, and he's this genius setter, even though he's younger. And Oikawa is like overworking himself like crazy, like he's driving himself into the ground. Until finally there comes a moment where he Kageyama asks Oikawa to teach him how to set. He wants to learn the jump serve, and Oikawa snaps and almost hits him, but Iwaizumi, his like childhood best friend, stops him just in time. And then Iwaizumi drags him away, scolding him the whole time. And after that, like Oikawa, like you know, slows down and calms down and betters himself. And I think that also was a humbling moment for him because I don't think he ever wanted to hurt Kageyama. It was just like a moment of frustration,
yeah,
where
yeah,
he's like being faced with another genius that he can't
yeah,
beat, and
exactly.
just like, yeah, it was like a psychological break. But so I think he's also very grateful that Iwaizumi stops him from hitting a younger kid because that would be, awful. So yeah, it's a big moment and a pretty important flashback.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
and yeah, and that also probably affected Kageyama, like and probably also contributed him to be kind of distant from his teammates and just ordering them around. It's like because he asked his senpai for help and the guy almost hit him. It's like, well, I guess I can't get help. So that's not shown as clearly in these flashbacks, but I'm sure it all contributed. Um, but yeah, but it is a sympathetic moment for both of them. Like you totally understand where Oikawa's frustration is coming from, because he loves this game so much and he wants to beat this Ushiwaka so much, and then he gets a teammate who's like this crazy genius, and it's like, yeah, it's rough, it's rough.
yeah.
But at this point in his high school career, he's the third year. He's trained all the train he can do. Like he's very confident in his abilities, and he's just doing everything he can. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Something we ignored at this point is that both teams won one set
yes,
at
yes,
this point.
right. So in volleyball, there's three. There, it's 2 out of 3. So if one team wins 2 sets, that's the end of the game. If both teams win one, there's a third set. And
Yes,
also, it is explained at some point. I don't remember when, but you have to be at least 2 points ahead. Like
that's in
25
most
to
games.
20. Yeah, 25 to 24 is not a win. You have to get to 26 or whatever. Yeah, there has to be a 2 point gap or it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
count.
think it's the same in table tennis and some other sports.
Yeah.
The only
Yeah.
Table
one
tennis. Yeah.
sports that don't care is actually, I think, basketball and something like that. I
Okay.
think those are the only that don't really care
Yep.
Well,
because they
yeah,
do
it's
points
because
completely differently.
right, that makes sense because tennis and volleyball, they're rally games. So yeah, like one point, one team could make the point ahead of the other team, and it wouldn't really actually be a win. So yeah, it's just something to note going forward in the
Yeah.
series.
The other thing.
And that's what comes in the next episodes.
Right.
The other thing I like they do here too is they show like in pivotal moments they have like they're locked on their eyes, right? So like you see Hinata and Kamiyama talking about how good the other team is and they're locked in, right? They look like
Hmm.
they're hungry, they're like vultures
Yeah, they're
coming
like
down on prey. So it's
they're like setter like dogs like pointing. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, let's get to episode 23, the point that changes momentum. third set, Yamaguchi tries uh,
Mhm.
his special serve
Yep.
and fails.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it happens.
But like
Yeah.
I love, like I've said, Ukai is a good coach. Like they were out of timeouts. The 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 other team was running away with it. And they just needed something different. They needed a change. They needed a player change. Like they subbed Suga out with Kageyama earlier to like change the momentum. They needed something just anything. So, well, you've got this kid who's been learning the jump float serve, and yeah, he's only been learning it for a week, but it's still worth a shot. Like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we got to do something. So, yeah, it's a good moment. And I love Yamaguchi. You don't like at this point in the series, you really don't know much about him. You learn much more later on. You get a lot of story about him and Suki and their relationship. But at this point, you just know he's kind of like this first year who doesn't really have much that special about him. But what is special about him is that he still wants to be there, and he still like he just started out just wanting to play volleyball for fun, and then he found himself on this team that really wants to go for it. And instead of backing off, he's trying to step up to the plate, and he's doing what he can, and he's being creative, and he's asking for help. Like he's doing what he needs to do to make a connection. He, despite being kind of a shy kid, and kind of nervous and used to like having Suki to like kind of hang around with and be his shield when he gets nervous, he went out on his own and went to Shimada at the electronics store and asked him to please teach him the jump float serve. Like he went and sought out a guru, which is not easy to do for a shy high school kid. But he was frustrated at being the only one of the four first years not in the starting lineup. And despite being a tall guy, he's like, I gotta do something. And he did it. Yeah, and I love this character. I think he's such a good kid.
So what I like is the visuals that they use when he comes into the game. He looks down
Mhm.
at the line to get on the court, and once he steps over the line, like you just see everybody in red, like the heat of battle. And then he
Mhm.
looks at his teammates, and they all look driven, and you know there's so much temperature and momentum. And then he looks at the other team, and it's the same thing. He's like, this feels totally alien. This is not like what I was dealing with. This is something different. It's a very
Mhm.
nice visual that the anime used to kind of display what it's like to be on a playing field.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and like I said, I've never played sports. I've never felt that pressure, but I still, from watching this show, I understood.
well, the nice thing then is after you transition from like, everybody engaged, then it goes to levity. So you see people like making jokes, they do their little
Mhm.
dance for a nice serve to try to bring, to calm his nerves down
Oh
so
yeah.
that he
Oh
can
yeah.
serve. So I like that duality of what they were doing. It's very they used him perfectly to show the peak of the intensity of the battle, but at the same time show you how human the team is to try to make sure everybody's doing their best, not to get too nervous to do what they came in to do.
Mhm.
Yes. And after Yamaguchi failed,
Just a moment
uh,
while you step away.
the error actually calms the team. And Kirasuno gets back on track, fighting with all they got. Which the ongoing battle is a battle head on head. They are fighting for every point, both teams. Um, which goes into episode 24.
Ooh, the last one.
Remove no, this yeah, almost last one.
Oh yeah,
The last one of the battle, I think.
yeah,
Yeah. Removing the Lonely King. Kageyama's character progress in season 1. So they fight for every point and they go higher and higher and higher. They go even above 30. Normally 25 is the last point. And Kageyama catches up to Oikawa. And the fact that Kageyama does not play like a robot, like Oikawa pointed out, told Oikawa all he needed to know, that the progression from being the tyrant to being a good king was on the way. Hinata is there to remind Kageyama he's not alone anymore, but in a team, which is the change that happens.
Yeah, it really
in
is
the end,
a lot of lovely character development in this episode.
Well,
in the end,
go ahead.
Kageyama plays to Hinata, and it gets blocked, which makes Karasuno lose this fight.
Mhm.
This was acknowledged by Oikawa, that if he wouldn't have noticed the change in Kageyama, it might have gone differently. But because he noticed it and which helped Kageyama and Karasuno win the second set. That's what made Oikawa realize what attack would be their last attack.
Yep. Yeah, it's really cool. Oikawa wins because he recognizes that Kageyama is trusting his teammates, which is just ironic, because you would, in most shonen stories where a deuteragonist or a protagonist had made this big leap of development and started to trust someone, normally that's the winning move, right? That's the ult. That's the end. Like, you beat the big boss because of the power of friendship. But in this show, which is much more grounded, you have a smart and canny opponent who can read you, who knows you very well, and sees, oh, hey. And not only that, but Oikawa is not stuck in the past. He doesn't think, well, Kageyama has always been bad at trusting people, so of course he's always going to be that way. He sees that Kageyama now trusts Hinata, and that when his back is up against the wall, that's where he's going to go to, like, just instinctively. And Oikawa understands that, because when he's up against a wall, he instinctively sends the ball to Iwaizumi. So he can recognize that that Kageyama has made this connection with someone else, and he uses that knowledge to beat him. And it's a very painful moment, but it's such good storytelling.
Yeah, because it makes you reflect about what we learned about him at the very episode 2, where he talked about he if he could do everything on his own, he would do it. If he could receive spike or set and spike, he would do it. So it's nice to have that character progression. But you know what? Maybe there's more that you need to learn, and I think
Right.
this show does it well. Um, it's really good. Like I said, it pulls on the right emotional beats for you to just really like the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tearjerker. It's a tear, like it. This episode does make me cry almost every time I watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, after they finished the fight, they were stunned for a moment, as it was a heavy hit for them. And after that, they pack up the stuff and get out of the hall. And outside, there's another emotional scene. Kageyama is cooling himself off, and then says that, or implies that it was a mistake to play to Hinata at the end. That was because he became not the lonely king the ruler with Iron Fist, because he stopped being the tyrant, Oikawa could see through him, and
Mm-hmm.
Hinata gets angry at that, and
Yeah.
they have to be pulled up by Takeda. Once again, Takeda is the man.
Yes.
Um, as he gives a little speech for them. Losing is not weakness. Not standing up after losing is weakness.
Yes.
That's the point of what he says.
Yeah.
And that's when they get up again and go to their team meeting.
Yeah.
After
It's
that, yep,
yeah, I was just gonna say that moment where Hinata grabs Kageyama and like pushes him and like he yells at him, "Don't act like it was a mistake to toss to me." Like that very strong character and story moment.
Yeah, because I think that's saying that the trust that they built over this first season was for nothing.
Right.
And I think Hinata's the one person that would take everything to heart. So if you would tell him that it was a mistake to trust you, would absolutely destroy him.
For sure.
yeah. Um, right. After this, they go eat and get their emotions out.
That
That's
scene is so
so
good.
hard. That's such a hard scene to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the only one who doesn't shed tears is Tsukishima. Everyone else is crying.
yeah, yeah. That's a
And that's
detail in
just
the scene. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just because Tsukishima, well, you find out later, he's just like locked himself away. Like
Yes.
that's why.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to eat while you're
Um,
crying, just
Yeah,
just
right.
ugly crying too. You're just everybody's got snot and everything going everywhere. It's just
Yeah,
ugly crying trying to eat.
yeah, and the adults are just sitting there cuz they totally understand. Like they get it. Like they've been there.
so now to the season finale 25, the third day, which is the aftermath of the loss. The third years decide to keep fighting
Mhm.
for Spring High, so they do not decide to stop there at the inter, uh,
The Inter High.
yeah, the inter high,
Yes,
but
against
decide to
adult
keep going forward.
device.
Yes,
Against adult advice. They're like, you guys, you need to concentrate on your studies. You've got to think about the workforce. You've got to think about your futures. Don't do something you'll regret. And all three of them were like, I want to play volleyball more. So,
Well, the other thing too is
res-
that the administration comes and confronts the teacher
yeah.
assistant, and says you need to talk to him.
Yeah. Well, that is part of his job as the
Yep.
kind of the club advisor is to look out for the people in the club. So,
Yep.
but yeah, and it totally makes sense that the adults would say this, and I totally understand why they chose to stay. Like it all is very human and very understandable.
Hmm.
And then we get that scene in the gym
yeah,
of like they Ukai gives them the day off to like relax and recover from a tough loss. And first Kageyama goes to the gym and he's doing jump serves by himself. And then Hinata comes and joins him. Um, and they're starting to play together and they're Kageyama's being a jerk as usual and then Hinata just starts screaming and running. It's funny and sad at the same time.
Getting out all your frustrations,
Oh yeah, for sure.
your
They're
anger,
just
because they both have the same. They both have the same thing. They both want the same thing, is to be the last person on the court.
right.
So it's a nice touching moment between those two because you know from where they were to where we got to is like very nice.
Yeah. No, I love it. It's a great like kind of a capstone on the season of Hinata and Kageyama's development as friends and teammates. It's like expressing this frustration together It's really nice. And then the whole team shows up, and like even though they all have the day off, they're all there at the gym. Like they're all like, we gotta get ready for the next one, guys.
Well, it's that mentality of all or nothing, right?
Right? Yeah.
So this is probably their best last chance. So they're like, let's, if we're gonna make this decision, then because
Got to put it
that's
all on the on.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. Because I think that's what the mentality shows from what they were building towards, and like ever since Golden Week, they've die hard, um, practicing and training, and it's very it's very nice to see that the dedication, and it's visualized.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really
And
good ending for the season. I really like it.
exactly. With that, we end the season with a loss and
Mhm.
a new fire for the new uh, fights that come. As once again, weakness is not losing, weakness is not getting up after losing. Letting oneself be stopped by that completely.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, all in all, like I said at the beginning, this this kind of storytelling is what I want young kids to you know watch, because there's a lot of great messages in here, not only about how to live life, but like how to go through life. And it's, I guess maybe sports animes is the best medium for that kind of stuff, because you can easily add levity and
Mhm.
to very serious conversations. So it's nice. It's I think once again, it's not going to blow your doors off, but at the same time, it's subtle enough with its messaging where it don't feel like it's beating you over the head with some kind of grand theme.
Right. There's no one going around yelling, like I'm the best, I'm going to be the next whatever. It's like everyone's dreams are pretty reasonable. It's like I want to go to nationals. I want to beat Ushiwaka. I want to be the next little giant. I just want to play with my friends. Like there's it's the stakes are a lot smaller than a lot of shonen stories, but that just makes it feel more real and more relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just think it's such a good show. And like I said at the beginning, I would tell anyone to watch it who likes fiction.
Yeah.
Sports.
Yeah.
But now, um, we got through the entire first season. A short run. We only took 3 hours,
Yeah.
Three
Well,
and a half.
3.5.
gee.
We started this podcast yesterday. It is almost 2 a.m. here.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. That's why we chose Saturday.
And I don't know. For a rough, hopefully all my talking is, well, it might be a good thing that all my talking was not
Quiet.
recorded. That way I didn't sound like an ass. But no,
Mm.
yeah, I appreciate you guys joining me on this adventure. I'm really glad that we got to talk about this, because I still think this is one of the, I don't know, I remember when it was big, and I've watched the last movie that came out, and I think a lot of people forget about this, and once you
Yeah, it
watch
just
it,
yeah.
you just get so stuck in.
Yeah, it had a long gap between seasons. So I
Yeah.
probably a lot of people like I lost track of it. So probably a lot of people did, but it's such a good story, it's such a good experience. It's definitely and it's worth returning to. Like I've watched this first season, I don't even know how many times I've lost track.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a notoriously rewatch of things I already watched.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to enjoy what's good, and to me, this is like the peak of what good anime is. Good
Mhm.
storytelling, good world building, the way to utilize all the characters. You know, I can't speak enough praises of this series.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm
And with
looking forward
that,
to rewatching season 2.
season 2 next week.
Sure.
Does it also have so many episodes?
I think it also has 25. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
We could just do half. We could do half the season.
or I mean, we could come back to it. I know we talked about doing season 1. If we want to,
That's true. We could watch something else.
yeah, we could.
Yeah.
If we'll talk about it, and if we make a decision between probably by Monday, if there's something else, I know that we decided on this because we all had high opinions of it. So maybe the next one might be a little bit spicy if we choose another anime. So, because
Sure.
I mean, I would like to come back and talk about because there's a lot of stuff that in the future episodes that come back to the first season, but
Mhm.
like we've said multiple times, this show is very good on building what came before it.
Mhm.
So, yeah. But if we want to, spice it up a little bit and change it up, I'm happy to do that as well.
Sure.
I think this was a chill talk.
It was.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
guess I'll end the stream there. Then
Yeah.
we'll tell
So-
everybody goodbye.
All
That
right.
was the first episode of I forgot the name already.
K.I.S.S.
Keep it simple, senpai.
Yeah, K.i.S.S. That's why we did it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you? Anybody got stuff coming up? I should ask that.
Mm,
Yeah, well, the next thing on my channel will be me reading the Nibelungenlied because it seems I am a culture channel now.
Nice. And everybody's channels is in the description.
yeah, I'm currently working on a music video for him.
Nice. And I am also working on a music video, so we all got things going on. We'll probably see everybody back next week. So
I hope so.
yeah.
Yeah, when we got another anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll end it there. We'll talk to everybody later.